Hyundai or Hyundai.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.
Odyssey with Yendi, brought to you by Grace, Singer, and Islandnet Services.
The Jamaica Debates Commission presents the General Elections Debates in association with Scotiabank, Forever Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. See the two major political parties debate national issues live August 26 and 28 at 9 p.m. It's a political must-see. Don't miss the General Elections Debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights
Bunting's got a good one. Fraser-Binns on the inside and a bit of squeeze between him and Svensson. Contact on two corners
already as well.
Oh, what an absolute nightmare.
Persia in the gravel.
Well, that's
Bunting up the inside.
over carnage, is it, inside one?
Just unnecessary, isn't it? It's so early in the weekend. You need a bit of self-preservation as well.
Is Fraser still on track? Yes, he is. There he is. So he's coming around the final section. Is it front left puncture, was it? Or rear left?
Yeah, rear left. I think he's got he's got
bodywork.
front left suspension damage as well or something, hasn't he? It doesn't look like it's completely square.
That's frustrating. Yeah. Well, he got tagged and he went twice. We're going to try and take a look at it in a minute once he's crossed the line. Here comes Fraser. Unfortunately, that's going to...
And that's what you love to see. They may be rivals, but the camaraderie is what it's all about. Can't wait for the final. I'm Giovanni Dennis, and this is CVM News.
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CBM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
The Jamaica Debates Commission presents the General Elections Debates in association with Scotiabank, Forever Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Blow, NCB, Arc Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. See the two major political parties debate national issues live August 26 and 28 at 9 p.m. It's a political must-see. Don't miss the General Elections Debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space,
it's your girl Tassanchin Crooks, and you're watching CVM. See it happen.
Reduction promises of economic growth, promises to help small and micro businesses. Well, the manifestos for the People's National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party are full of promises to do with improving the economy. So, lots of anticipation for tonight's debate on the economy to see whether the parties can answer all the questions people have about all these promises in their manifestos. These are the teams that will be participating in the debate, starting with Fayval Williams. She is the current finance minister. Now, she is the Minister of Finance and Public Service, and she also has served as Minister of Education and Youth. She holds an MBA in Finance from the Wharton Business School, the University of Pennsylvania, and a BA in Economics, cum laude, from Harvard University. Now, Ms. Williams is a chartered financial analyst and has held senior roles in the global investment firms, including Putnam Investments and Wellington Management Company. The next team member for the JLP is Dr. Christopher Tufton. He is Jamaica's Minister of Health and Wellness and has been a Member of Parliament for West Central St. Catharines since March 2016. He previously served as Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries from 2008 to 2011 and Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, making notable contributions in both areas. The modernized sector, championed greenhouse farming, and created the Agro-Investment Corporation. Tufton holds a doctorate in business administration from the University of Manchester. The final team member for the JLP is Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon. Now, Dr. Dixon was appointed Senator and Cabinet Minister in May 2023 with the Skills and Digital Transformation portfolios in the Office of the Prime Minister. In October 2024, Senator Dixon was named as the Minister of Education, Skills and Youth and Information. She led the National Risk Assessment for Jamaica in 2021, which is a key component of Jamaica's anti-money laundering framework, while on secondment to the Bank of Jamaica. Now, she helped strengthen the country's anti-money laundering framework. Now, debaters for the People's National Party. Julian Robinson, MP for St. Andrews South Eastern. Now, Mr. Robinson has held key positions in the PNP, General Secretary from 2016 to 2020, Deputy General Secretary and the Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. That's in Parliament. Now, he is the former Minister of State in the Ministry of Science, Technology and Energy, the former Minister, and also he holds a BSc in Management Economics from the University of the West Indies and an MBA from the University of Illinois. Now, with an exchange at Manchester Business School, he also played a pivotal role in developing Jamaica's ICT sector. Now, the other member on Team PNP, Peter Bunting, he's the opposition spokesperson on national security. He has served as Minister of National Security, and he also has experience in introducing the anti-gang law legislation, anti-lottery scamming law, and the DNA Evidence Act in 2015. He conceptualized the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency MOCA and the Unite for Change initiative. Bunting held top political roles, including the PNP General Secretary from 2008 to 2014 and Commissioner of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica and Chairman of JAMPRO. And the final member of Team PNP, the party treasurer, Kisha Anderson. Anderson has 23 years of experience in the financial sector, and she has served as the country head for JMMB Group and CEO of JMMB Investments. She holds a degree from the University of the West Indies and has earned certifications from Harvard Business School and the University of North Carolina. So, those are the debaters and a bit about their information, their biographic information. Now, we'll be carrying the debate live at 9 o'clock, but first, we have a fantastic pre-show for you with a live studio audience, as you can see, to my right, which will be your left. And we also have a nice panel lined up for you with experts who I will introduce in a very short moment. But tonight we are matching manifestos. As you notice, we are starting just an hour before the actual debates. And in matching the manifestos, the first thing we want to look at is the big announcement of the weekend from both parties. Wally promises for tax breaks. What does all of this mean? Well, to break it down for us, here is Amoy Harriet.
I'm Amoy Harriet, and welcome to CVM's Manifesto Matchup, where in each episode we dissect the manifestos recently published by the two major political parties. So if you've been paying attention to CVM news in recent days, you would have heard that tax relief is one of the headline-grabbing promises in both manifestos. So the Jamaica Labour Party, in its 110-page manifesto called I Choose Jamaica, the Next Chapter, is promising to increase the income tax threshold from 1.7 million to 1.9 by April next year and 2 million by April 2027 if it continues government. So the party says the plan is to gradually, bring the income tax rate down to 15%. Now, currently, as you're supposed to know, a personal income tax rate of 25% is applied to the salaries of persons earning over $1.7 million per year and 30% for income exceeding $6 million. Now, additionally, the JLP is promising that banks and other regulated financial institutions will pay less in asset taxes with the goal of eventually, removing this tax altogether. Now, currently, these institutions pay 0.25% of the value of their assets as tax. Now, further, the party says it will group all the taxes into one on your payslip. So, instead of having 4 separate taxes, which are education, income tax, NIS, and NHT, there'll be a single consolidated tax. Now, over to the PNP's manifesto. It's also offering tax relief, but their focus is a little bit different. Now, earlier this month, the party released its 70-page manifesto called Mission Jamaica Love and a manifesto light version, Guide to a Better Life, on Monday. Now, the PNP is proposing to raise the income tax threshold to $3.5 million. So, in other words, if you're making $3.5 million per year or less, you won't have to pay any income tax. So the party has indicated that they wouldn't stop at 3.5. They say eventually, as the economy improves, the party wants to raise that tax threshold even further. Now, additionally, the PNP is also committing to removing the tax on overtime pay for public and private sector workers who earn $6 million or less every year. Now, similarly, for hospitality workers, persons who work in the hotel industry, for example, their tips and gratuity will no longer be taxed under a PNP administration. And speaking of tax breaks, the party is also promising to remove taxes on laptops and tablets for all students and teachers. Now, we've only just scratched the surface. There are a lot of other promises and policies outlined in both manifestos for us to review. So you want to make sure to stay tuned into the next episode of of Manifesto Matchup. Until then, walk good.
Thanks so much, Amoy. Now we're just going to head to a quick break and we'll come back right here on Lead Story Prime, our special edition where we are previewing the debate on the economy. Stick and stay with us here on CVM TV.
Millions of people are attacked by harmful mouth bacteria. The root cause of bad breath, gum problems, cavities, plaque, and tartar. That's why Colgate combined the best science and technology in Colgate Total. Unlike others, its superior formula fights bacteria and creates a powerful protective barrier for up to 24 hours to prevent them from coming back. Take control of your oral health with Colgate Total.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Deliver 25,000 land titles per year with more NHT benefits, helping families in informal settlements. That's doing more for Jamaica.
Well, I guess 50,000 homes.
Continue to connect Jamaica with more highways and large-scale road repairs. Yeah, Jamaica needs this.
Yeah, modern infrastructure. We promise to improve them. Yeah, more promises.
Build on our landmark tax-free threshold increase by cutting income tax. Yeah, that's it.
Raise tax-free income up to 3.5 million. I guess that's good.
You can copy my ideas, but you can't copy my results.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. For 55 years, Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
Welcome back to Lead Story Prime here on CVM TV. We're looking ahead to the debate on the economy that is scheduled to start at 9 p.m. at the CPTC here in Kingston. Notice to introduce my expert panel here tonight in the CVM studios before we head to CPTC. Next to me we have Keenan Faulkner, who is an economist. Next to him we have Dr. Christine Clark. She is the Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences at the University of the West Indies and a senior lecturer in economics in that faculty as well. And beside her we have Ronaldinho McLean, who we had on with us last week, and he was so good we had to bring him back. He is from the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment, and he'll be helping to assess the debate in terms of style, structure, the approach, whereas my other two guests now will be speaking on the actual substantive issues of the economy to kind of break it down for our audience, to ensure that everybody understands. That's the purpose of this entire panel, to simplify things. And to start off with our discussion tonight, we're taking it to the people. So a member of the audience has a question, and Raymond Morrison is roving the floor. Raymond, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Gio. So our first question is from Tony Shea, who is here with us in studio tonight. I'm just going to have Tony Shea ask this question.
Good evening, everyone. So my question is, it sounds like a bunch of numbers, right? So I would like to at least have it simplified to pretty much get an understanding of what both parties are presenting.
Okay. Keenan Faulkner, you've been doing that on all the media platforms since Monday, since the announcements were made on the weekend and starting Monday. What do they mean? Start us off with the JLP firstly. Because Tony Shea said it's a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, well, the proposal to reduce the tax rate from 25 to 15% will just simply have the effect of everybody who is above the threshold that will move to $2 million in a couple of years' time, 3 years' time. They will benefit differentially. So we don't know what the benefit is for each person because it's dependent on your income group. But in aggregate, we collect on average around $150 billion in pay-as-you-earn taxes a year. And
so let's just clarify for my audience again. Pay-as-you-earn taxes is the same PAYE that you see on your pay slips when you get your pay at the one time. It's the one that takes the biggest chunk of your money. That's what he's referring to.
Right. That's personal income tax. And if you are decreasing the rate from 25 to 15%, that is effectively a 40% decline, because you're taking away basically 10 out of that 25. And that translates to effectively $60 to $70 billion. So you're looking at, in a year, you collect $150 billion, and you're looking to know whether it is in a year or a phased implementation of it, a revenue loss of that amount. For the People's National Party, when they...
Sorry, let's stop on that. How does something like that affect the government's coffers in terms of their earnings? So you're getting less, 40% less than what you'd normally collect from PAYE. Somebody might say, wait, that's all that might ruin the economy. But they're saying, no, it will be done responsibly over a phased period. This is not being proposed immediately either. Keenan, the 15%, that is,
well,
the eventual aim.
The LP has said that it will be implemented gradually.
Right.
And, there is no specific timeline for that. But as I have pointed out elsewhere, for the next 2 fiscal years, we are planned to run a deficit of around $33 to $34 billion per year.
Okay.
So when you put that into context, you realize just how big that figure is.
Pause it. He just said we were going to run a deficit of 33 million per year. What does that mean in English, please, for the non-economics person to understand?
In essence, just like your household, that simply means that what you're bringing in is going to be less than what you plan to spend by the tune of the amount that he's saying. So the tax revenue,
if the rent is $140,000 and we're only bringing in $100,000, the deficit is $40,000.
There you go.
So that's what that just means.
Yes, that's the deficit. So he was finishing the PNP.
Right.
PNP side.
Right. So when they propose now to increase that threshold from the current 1.7, it's already planned to go to 2 million, and then it will eventually end up at 3.5 in their proposal. What that will do is effectively remove tens of thousands of people from paying income tax at all. So their liability for income tax will be zero. And what it does is that if you phase the implementation equally, then all income groups above 3.5 million will now get an equal benefit. So just like when you had the implementation of the 1.5 moving to 1.7, everybody above that 1.7 got $2,000. It didn't matter if you earned 20 million or if you earned 2 million. Everybody got the same amount after that. And everybody below that 1.7 would now stop paying taxes. Now, when that adjustment...
When I say they got $2,000, they got $2,000 extra, or they paid $2,000 less in cash, which works out to the same thing?
That they got $2,000 extra on their paycheck every month. So when you worked out those numbers from that movement from 1.5 to 1.7, that resulted in 29,000 people being removed from the tax roll, right, after that. And the cost for that, when that was implemented, was around $9 billion. The movement from 1.7 to 1.8 cost another $4.7 billion.
So for simplify again, so for the 29,000 Jamaicans who were earning 1.7 or less, for them to be removed from the threshold when it went to that level, it simply meant that the government lost how many billions, you say?
So they foregone revenue of $9 billion.
$9 billion.
Yeah, and then each band of 100,000 was effectively 4 to 5 billion. So the movement from 1.7 to 2 million, the planned movement is going to cost 14 billion.
This is what the JLP is promising if they win.
No, this is the prior implementation that happened. Policy
Right. That was announced earlier this year.
Right. So that's just to give it some context. So therefore, a movement from 2 to 3.5, if each band of 100,000 costs around 4 to 5 billion, then that equates to around 60 to 75. So you can see that both the PNP and the JLP's proposals effectively cost in the similar region.
Good economic policy, bad economic policy, based on what you're seeing from both manifestos, Dr. Clark?
So from the public finance perspective, in essence, everything depends on that overall economic plan that you have, the economic, the social plans that you have. When we think about a tax system, we are, in essence, trading off different goals. So whether it's equity, efficiency, fairness, simplicity in terms of implementation on the administration side, there are quite a bit of trade-offs. So as Keenan just said, in increasing the threshold, we were able to remove some persons. That means on the employer side, it's easier to make their filings because there are fewer people to account for on that filing towards TAJ. And so in a way, you could say, okay, maybe we got some efficiency gains from that. Even though, yes, we are losing revenue. Because, of course, the whole point of taxation is to bring in revenue. So we're implementing taxes to raise revenues to implement some programs on the expenditure side.
So let's say implementing taxes, because the government, both of them, the government right now and the opposition have said no new taxes.
No new taxes. I'm just saying generally, philosophically, why do we implement taxes as a country? We do it because we have some expenditures that we need to do. Education, health, security. So in terms of the threshold, that is likely to result in a bit more efficiency and possibly also some more equity. On the tax rate side, it is possible that that could yield some growth dividends over time. Because when the rates are lower, then persons who are thinking, okay, I may set up a business or I want to enter the Jamaican economy and start operating, those requirements are now going to be far less what they have to now remit to the government vis-a-vis their employees. So it is possible that over time, the literature indicates reduction in taxes, income tax rates, could actually yield some results in terms of the competitiveness of the economy. And we know that a major kind of bugbear in Jamaica is real GDP growth. How fast can we grow? We have very ambitious targets. I mean, both sides, I'm sure people would agree, have very ambitious plans. But again, without the economic growth, i.e. we're producing more and more each year, possibly with the same resources, or we're getting better resources and still being able to produce more.
So
that's our goal.
You mean gross domestic product. We're not taking anything for granted, Dr. Clark. Everyone needs to understand and follow the conversation. And I do want you to explain what do you mean by that, by real GDP growth. But I do want to take another question. Sure. I see two persons with their hands up, the gentleman in the jacket and the gentleman beside him in the cream shirt. And Raymond will be getting the questions from both.
Okay, so we'll take the gentleman in the jacket first. Go ahead, what's your name?
My name is Rajiv Bennett. And my concern is with this loss of revenue that comes with the decreased taxation or the changes in the income tax threshold, where will the revenue be coming from? Or what my concern is, where is what do we propose as a source of revenue to make up for that loss that we now incur when we raise the tax threshold or just remove taxes in general?
Back to the panel, Gio.
Dr. Clark.
Okay, so my understanding from the discussions around these proposals...
Can I premise something before you start speaking?
Certainly.
So I just want to say to our audience, remember, Dr. Clark is not the one running for office. And so this is her assessment of it, just to protect her right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, disclaimer.
Yes.
Yes,
so my understanding of the discussions are that, in essence, we are yielding some benefits from paying down the debt, right? So those savings over time, the government or the opposition, if it becomes government, intends to give that back to the population through either of the measures that they've proposed. So that's one thing. You also, as I indicated, you expect some efficiency gains from having fewer people on the tax system. And remember that this equates to real dollars in the pockets of persons. So we expect persons to either save more or spend more, and that should hopefully stimulate economic activity down the road. Or if the growth dividends, as I indicated for the income tax rate reduction, if that were to follow through, you would expect that persons would be able to maybe start new MSMEs, thereby hiring other persons, and you could get that growth effect through that channel. So that now would generate some resources that would then...
Dr. Clark, I want you to complete that point, but my producer is in my ears for about a minute now. We do have to take the break here on Lead Story Prime. We are looking ahead to the debate on the economy. We are just about half an hour away. So stick and stay with us here on CVM TV. When we come back, we'll hear the conclusion of what Dr. Clark is saying, plus so much more. Stay with us.
Your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan, with small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 8:30.
Getting the keys to your own home is a feeling many cannot describe. It's a moment we all hope for, and a dream that all Jamaicans have. The new social housing program is the difference between a dream and reality. The government, through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, is building hope, one home at a time.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for your safety. Over the past 9 years, we've delivered the lowest murder rate in 30 years. We've strengthened our police force, and we've delivered landmark programs like the first government-run domestic violence shelters. The JLP is doing more for you, and we're not done yet. Proven results means peace of mind. Choose a safer Jamaica. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. For 55 years, Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
Welcome back to Lead Story Prime here on CVM TV, a special edition as we look ahead to the second of 3 debates, the best of 3 at the CPTC, that's the Creative Production and Training Center in Kingston. We are looking at live images, or you were just looking at live images, and you're now seeing it again. They're doing the final checks, ensuring that all is in place, and we're standing by to go there in just about 27 minutes as we count down to that. But before that, though, my expert panelists here with me have been breaking down the numbers from the manifestos, matching manifestos, if you will, to see how the promises compare from both political parties. Dr. Clark, you were speaking about essentially, the government having debts, paying the debts off, and once they do that, now they have more money to give back to people from the taxes that they implemented to pay the debt in the first place.
Right.
And let me know if this example is okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to simplify for
no
my audience.
problem.
We have a household, we're paying rent for $100, car loan for $50, student loan for $50 per month.
Right.
We pay off student loan, so we're no longer using that $50, but we still have to pay the rent on one time, and we're still paying the car loan. But because we have that extra $50 now, we can buy an extra patty on one time. And the money that we're getting, like the $2,000, that's the 1.7 that Keenan spoke about, that's basically the patty money and the government giving back. Right. And after we pay off the car, we're going to have more money. That's essentially what they're saying.
In essence.
Okay.
You could also, of course, see if you can get somewhere cheaper to rent, right? That's another potential option. Equal space, but cheaper, as well as perhaps you'll pay off the car or sell the car, and there'll be a train or whatever it is that can get you from A to B.
I want to go to my audience, which you will in just a second, but you were speaking about real GDP growth and how this, the lowering of the threshold can lead to that.
Not the real GDP growth, the reduction in the income tax rate.
Right.
If it is that persons at the higher end, because that is where, I guess, the criticism of that approach is that persons at the higher end will benefit more from that proportionately for the lower income tax rates.
This is the 15%.
Yes, the 15%. Yes. No, the JLP's proposal is for, right. So what that could do is stimulate their intentions or interest in starting a small business and thereby employing other persons and creating goods or services that are in demand, maybe exportable, thereby generating additional revenue through their economic activity for the government that they can then use to fund other things. So on net, I mean, it may not be, I don't think it's likely that the bulk of either of the proposals is going to happen in any one fiscal year, maybe not even over the medium term, the 3-year horizon, because these are things that take time. It takes time to start the business, takes time to get your capital, even if, you're working with the DBJ, it's going to take some time, some formulation. So maybe that is where our questions will come from, what's the time frame that they're thinking about? Yes.
So you're basically saying to Jamaicans right now, whoever wins on September 3, do not expect at the end of September when they get a paycheck on the 25th for people who get money the 25th of the month, or for the government workers who get it like a week before. Don't expect the zero for 3.5 or below, or the 15.
No, I wouldn't expect it so quickly.
Raymond, in the audience again, what are our members wanting to hear from the debate tonight?
Okay, so we have another question. I'll just take your name and what you're expecting to hear from the economic debate tonight.
All right, so my name is Javon Downey, and what I'm really expecting to be answered is because on net, when you do the evaluations of both proposals, again, on net, it's roughly the same savings that are being proffered by both sides in the long run. But what I want to know is, especially because we operate in an economic that is very volatile, right? How sustainable is each policy for the long haul? Because what I realize is that most the plans from the PNP are more effective in the short term, but the plans for the JLP, they have more a long haul or a long future range. So on net, like how sustainable is each plan? Does the PNP plan crashes out in the long run, or does the JLP plan takes too long to come into effect, so people are generally disinterested? I want to hear that addressed, and I would love to hear also from the panelists what their take is.
Let's take another comment before we have a response. I said Dr. Clark writing that down to give a response to that. Let's take another comment from the audience.
We'll take one from the front row here.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Shamar Bell. So quick question. What would be the harm if the threshold moved from 1.7 to 3.5, right? I want to know what would be the harm to the economy if it moved from 1.7 straight to 3.5.
As in immediately?
Yes.
Dr. Clark.
Well, as we're saying, I mean, these are choices that we as a country have to make, right? If we want to go it in one fell swoop, as we may think about it, then we will certainly have to be giving up something in that same fell swoop. Because as Keenan indicated, you are already looking towards a deficit, right? So you're simply going to be adding on to that if it is we're not changing anything else. Like in Giovanni's example, if we're not going to find somewhere cheaper to rent, or we're not going to move in with family, so we don't have that housing costs overhead and the other bills, or we're going to sell the car and walk. If we're not going to do that, but we're still just going to move everything in one go, the 60 billion that Keenan pointed to would be added to that planned deficit. So the question will be, well, how will the markets respond to that, right? So we have to think about that because, I mean, we have a very celebrated case. Jamaica does. We're seen as almost a, it's a wild card. Nobody ever saw us being where we are today. So it's actually quite interesting that we're here debating whether or not we should reduce income tax rates or increase thresholds.
In other words,
it's a good problem to have. It's a good place to be. And so it's really good that we're having a discussion and that Jamaica can join in and say, why not do both? Some people might be thinking that why we can't have both worlds. Well, we can, but it's not free. Right? We're going to have to trade off something.
Okay. At this point, I want to bring in Ronaldinho McLean, but I also want your question answered, Javon Downey. And I should say to my audience, congratulations to Mr. Downey. He's achieved things close. So he'll be heading off to the United Kingdom in less than 2 weeks, essentially. But before we have, can we have his question answered before we bring in Ronaldinho McLean? Do you remember his question, Keenan?
How could you remember?
Long-term versus short-term?
Long-term versus short-term benefits of each policy.
Well, one policy, the PNP's policy, is likely to have a bigger impact in the short term, whereas the JLP's policy is likely to be more sustainable in the long term. And that's just simply because that can be looked at in two different ways.
30 seconds.
Do you want to phase it in, but what is the impact? Or do you hope to have such a significant impact in the short term that, it outweighs or offsets the cost of actually doing it right away. So as Dr. Clark said, there are trade-offs to be made, and it really depends on, do you want efficiency, do you want equity, do you want sustainability, or which one of them more do you want?
Okay, so these are legitimate questions that Jamaicans want answered tonight. Clarity on the proposals, and I'm certain that the journalists will be asking some of those questions. I should say as well to our viewers, if you're watching at home right now and you want to participate, if you want to ask a question as well, or share with us some of the issues you want answered, you can send your comments via WhatsApp to 876-833-0897. That's 876-833-0897. Send your WhatsApp comments to that number. You can also respond and interact with our question on Instagram. On our Instagram page, you will see the number right there, and you can also comment on to share the issues that you want to hear answered. In the meantime, I'll have Raymond look up one of the questions that has come in from earlier today, and we'll take that momentarily. But first, Ronaldinho, we're going now to the style, the flair, the delivery of what can be complex economic issues. You've seen me here tonight asking our experts here to put in English the algebra and mathematics that they've been speaking about the policies. What does each party need to do to bring across their point in a simple way that people can understand from your perspective as an expert debater?
Yes. So first of all, I just wanted to say it's phenomenal, the questions, just to hear from ordinary Jamaicans what the questions they have for these policies are. I think they'll probably be exactly the questions that will need to be addressed in some form tonight. What
so
exactly is
our audience members could be the questioners and the journalists there tonight?
Exactly so. Questions like, what's the effect of this? How are we going to pay for it? On what timeline will this be implemented? So I think the debater's job tonight will be not just to simplify the numbers and simplify the proposals, but to also humanize them, connect them to people so people can understand how will they feel the impact of this policy and why is it better than their opponents' policy. So, lots of these can be analyzed in different ways. The PNP's policy can be seen, and of course, they've already been framing it as a policy more for the poor, given that, they're taking some set of people completely off the tax rolls. People, the tax threshold is already on its way to 2 million, so people between 2 million and 3.5 eventually. It's up to Jamaicans whether they consider people between 2 million and 3.5 million gross national income to be poor. But they're making the case that their policy is geared more towards the poor. And the JLPs,
as Keenan said, they have the same net effect, generally speaking,
in terms of the cost. But the PNP's policy will take people between, now it would be 1.8 and 3.5 million if it were implemented today, completely off the tax roll, versus the JLP's policy, which would just reduce the tax rate for everyone who currently pays tax. So I'm saying from the PNP's framing, that's probably going to be the framing they go for, their policy, helping those people who are poor by giving them more money versus the JLP spreading money more equally and thus having maybe a more disproportionate impact to those who are well off. And I mean, like I heard Dr. Clark set up, I think the JLP will probably make a case for why lowering that tax rate entirely will stimulate, investment in the country and development and economic growth in that way. So that might very well be the setup we see to kind of humanize the debate a little bit, so it's not just numbers in our head, but how people can feel an impact and maybe how different sectors of the society can feel seen in the different proposals.
Okay, I do want you to speak a little bit further in terms of the changes that we saw to the economic debate, but we do have a quick break to take, and when we come back we'll hear more from Damion McLean of the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment. Second, stay with us here on Lead Story Prime. I'm Giovanni Dennis reporting from this special edition looking ahead to the debate on the economy, and we're 15 minutes away. Soon come.
Protecting Jamaica's borders is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
8:45.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. For 55 years, Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
You see, before this free healthcare come in, me used to fret, ball. Me go a clinic, can't go a pharmacy, go get me pill them. Me have to tell them to give me 3 each or quarter. Some of them, they say they can't give me that, them have to give me the full dose. Me used to suffer like a dog. Because me tell you something, my ailment, me get strokes, me have low blood count, me have poor circulation. See me medication, them, look, me get for pressure, me get for heart, poor circulation, me get for stomach, and this have for pain. And let me tell you that. You see all of them here when me used to go to pharmacy, all 15,000. Poor me never have it. Let me tell you that. When me go and beg them to sell me little of this, a dozen or 6. Me could not buy it. And now you know what? You see when me go jad up and me carry this here card here, me get everything. Everything me I tell you now. And you know how much me pay for it? All $200. That for sure you say. Enough people out there. I hit make them a survive and I hit make them a live. So please, Jamaica, choose wisely. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Welcome back to Lead Story Prime, a special edition looking at a pre-debate show essentially ahead of the debate on the economy. I'm Giovanni Dennis. I've been speaking with expert panelists here and the most lovely audience right now. You will not see this anywhere else in Jamaica. The best assembly of people here ahead of the national debate. Now let's go to Raymond Morrison with a question from WhatsApp, and this is one of the issues that people are saying they want to see addressed tonight in the debate. Raymond.
Thanks, Gio. So the first question is from Caroline Smith. Both the PNP's and GLP's manifesto have proposed changes to income tax. The GLP has proposed a gradual reduction in income tax to 15% of annual earnings, and the PNP proposed raising the income tax threshold to 3.5 million. Tell us how each plan will be financed, and when will the implementation phase begin?
Okay, so hopefully that question is asked. I see Corv da Costa itching to say something. What issue do you want to see addressed, Corv da Costa?
For me, I think economic growth is top of mind. How are you going to stimulate growth? We've always been eluding this economic growth, and I think the ideas coming out of the manifestos are great, but how will we stimulate growth? And I think the panel or the debaters who captured that tonight, for me, is going to be the talk of the town.
The team who can say how they will grow the economy. I see a question at the front, Raymond. 2 questions at the front.
Sure.
Next to each other, the gentleman and the lady.
So one of my questions I want to see at the debate talking about is that the affordability of housing. Consider the fact that university students, as they get their degree, they're looking forward to make money and try to get affordable housing. So I want to know how NHT going to be a part of it. I want to know how they're going to finance these things to help university students to get housing and to mitigate brain drain as well.
Okay, so just before we take the other question, I just want to quickly say to our viewers, so at the beginning of the program, we played a report from Amoy, and it was titled Matching Manifestos, the Tax Breaks of Both Parties, essentially looking at what both of them are saying on the issue of the tax breaks. We also will be having tomorrow as well in Sunrise, continuing on the matching manifestos, and we'll be doing this daily for the remainder of the election campaign period up until next week, Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be speaking about just that issue. Housing. How do the manifestos match up in housing? So tuning to CVM's Sunrise in the morning, and also we will be putting it on our social media pages on Instagram and all the other social media, as well as Lee's Story Prime tomorrow. We'll be matching the manifestos here on the same program tonight, a special tomorrow night as well, a special edition looking at how the housing issue stacks up, what the promises that both of them are making, what do they mean, and simplifying them so that you at home can understand, if it is that you don't understand when they finish speaking tonight at the debates. Let's take the next question, Raymond.
I'm Calfa Clark. I'm actually a member of the public sector. I'm working within the public sector. And so a very big interest of mine is efficiency in the public sector, what that looks like. There have been many conversations, about the negotiations that our union have been having. And I want to hear and understand what really is the position of both these sides on how to make the public sector more efficient and how to make our job more worthwhile. Yes.
Okay, so the major issue there as well, public sector wage negotiations in the context of a general election, it's also something it's an interesting point, because the Jamaica Teachers Association, for example, has been threatening, in fact, to disrupt the reopening of schools if that 0% offer that has been made in the first year is not rectified and improved. So it will be interesting to see how that is addressed tonight based on that question there that was asked. And it would be unfair for me to put that to my panelists here. They are economists, they're not the parliamentarians who will be running the country. But Ronaldinho, the format of the debate this year has changed. Coming out of the debate in 2020, the Jamaica Debates Commission said that they conducted a post-debate survey. And in short, Jamaicans said the debate on the economy was boring. And so they wanted to make this debate more exciting. And to tell you the truth as well, that's why we've also included a studio audience to ask questions that Jamaicans like you at home are asking. We're trying to break it down and simplify the issues. Do you think this new structure will serve that purpose without dumbing down the issues, Ronaldinho?
I think it can. And I hope it does, because I think part of the reason that people probably saw the previous economic debates as boring is because the emphasis seemed so much on just finance and national finance. And the economy is so much broader, and people have so many issues, not just dealing with fiscal policy, for example. So we heard about opportunities for young people. I'm also interested to hear about energy policy, tourism, agriculture policy that contribute to the economic pie in Jamaica. And even in economic policy, people are anxious to know not just about tax policy, but what, trade policy too. What are you going to do about trade, and what are you going to do in this context of an ever unstable world around us, and also Donald Trump in the United States now being the president. That affects things too. So I think opening it
in
up
what
to...
way? Simplify that, because not everybody knows how Donald Trump being president right now and what he's doing affects things too.
Well, one immediate thing regarding trade is that this year he's rolled out lots
tariffs.
of increased tariffs on countries across the world, including Jamaica. So
Pause. Dr. Clark, tariffs, break it down for my audience. What do we mean when we say Donald Trump has increased tariffs and how this may affect countries like Jamaica, developing countries like Jamaica? What do we mean by that?
So, in essence, what he's trying to do is to resuscitate his own economic activity, and in doing so, he's putting up barriers for other people's goods to enter the United States. So he has picked a tariff, a tax, basically on when we send goods or other countries, because he has a differentiated kind of list, a rate, they put on a tariff onto that item, in essence increasing the price, the final price to the consumer, and thereby hopefully they will choose to buy the American produced item.
So let's simplify this again. So if Jamaica sends a patty to the United States and it's usually $50 for the patty and they did not charge a tariff, if with a tariff now of 25%, it will be like what?
Choose a hard number, but yes, about $62.
So $62 now for it. Right. So that's what you mean when you speak about that. Let's take another issue from our audience here. What do you want to see addressed tonight? The gentleman in white.
Good evening. I am Dominic Stewart. What I expect to hear from tonight's debate is how exactly either party intends to increase entrepreneurship in Jamaica and our job availability for Jamaicans and young adults, especially fresh out of university.
Okay, so another important issue. Keenan Faulkner.
Well, over the last couple of years, there actually has been an increase in registration of company names and business names, and it seems like that is the posture of the government to increase entrepreneurship. Like Dr. Clark had said earlier, there are many things that people can do with the sort of dividends that you get from tax reductions and the fiscal policy that has been pursued by the government. One of them is entrepreneurship, but that also has to be complemented by appropriate business development services. You're thinking also of the funding that really is the lifeblood of these entrepreneurial endeavors. So you might not want to rely on just wage and salaried labor. That doesn't seem to be the posture of the government. They probably want you to be able to create jobs for other people. And you see it reflected also in real estate. So, there's been a boom in commercial real estate as a result of that increase in entrepreneurship.
Jumping in right here and you see the whole Pandora box open when you mentioned Donald Trump, Ronaldinho McLean. And to speak on that as well, news just coming in right now. The Jamaica Post just shared a press release saying essentially, and the title of it, suspension of parcels and packets to the United States. So Jamaica Post, which is to advise that the last outbound flight to the United States of America for dispatch of parcels and packets, that's essentially letters containing merchandise or anything, or even just letters, by the way, will depart on Thursday, August 28. And as a result, Tuesday, August 26 will be the final day, that is today, to post parcels and packets to the U.S. at all Jamaica Post locations until further notice. This became necessary because of the issuance of an executive order by the United States which suspends duty-free de minimis treatment for all countries effective August 29. So Jamaica Post received official notice of this change today. And so, yeah, that's the kind of impact that the tariffs are having. So we're going to be taking some live shots right now from the Jamaica Debates Commission. We are just 2 minutes out of the debate. Dr. Clark is sitting here beside me, and she's absolutely stunned at how quickly an hour has gone by. Final comments from everyone on my panel and also my audience. You haven't spoken so far from Lands, Christoph Simpson. What do the parties need to say tonight to win to win the debate tonight?
The most important thing is for the parties to differentiate themselves. A lot of people have it in mind that the parties are the same thing. There's not much ideological difference. Both of them to the private sector as what should really direct the priorities of the economy. You don't really hear the government deciding what sectors should be the strategic sectors.
By
that we
the hint of
focus on.
sarcasm in your voice, Christoph, it sounds as if you also think that both parties are the same.
Oh, for certainly. And
let's take another question quickly in 10 seconds from the front that we want to hear. I see the lady right here raising her hand. This lady right beside you, Raymond. Yes?
Right. So I'm just very excited to hear about the agricultural sector. I really do hope to hear about it in the debate. It's a major part of our economic activity, so I'm looking forward to the conversations regarding that sector.
Okay, so we'll be watching the debates together. So we are just about out of time right now. They're counting down, so we're sending you over in just about now. Stick and stay with us after the debate for the post-debate assessment and analysis from my expert panel and my in-studio audience. Until then, I'm Giovanni Dennis sending you over to the studios of CPTC.
Globe, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Tonight, we focus on the economy. Our moderator is George Davis.
Welcome to the second of the political debates organized by the Jamaica Debates Commission and staged before a live studio audience. The debates are intended to assist in identifying, clarifying and understanding the issues being presented in this.
The general elections.
This evening's debate focuses on the economy and is a team debate. Members of the panel of questioners are Andrea Chisholm, TVJ, Al Edwards, Our Today online financial magazine. Taking and presenting questions from the public is our social media editor, Amoy Harriet, CVM TV. I am your moderator, George Davis. As is customary, the audience is not to applaud the debaters, except for now, after we announce each team. For Team JLP, Dana Morris-Dixon. For Team PNP, Julian Robinson. For the JLP, Fayval Williams. For the PNP, Kisha Anderson. And for the JLP, Chris Tufton. And for the PNP, Peter Bunting. The guidelines for tonight's debates have been previously agreed and are posted on the Debate Commission's website at www.jamaicadebatescommission.com. The guidelines include questions being no longer than 30 seconds and each team being allowed 90 seconds to respond to each question, and rebuttals are limited to 45 seconds. The questions posed in tonight's debate will come from two sources. The first source is you, the public. Send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. These will be checked, selected, and asked by our social media editor. The second source of questions is from our panel of journalists. Questions are not influenced by the Jamaica Debates Commission in any way. Providing sign language interpretation services this evening is Ms. Jane Litchmore, who teaches sign language at an international level and who previously provided sign language services on the former Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation and Television Jamaica, and who also represented the Jamaica Association for the Deaf. Now, based on a previous coin toss, the first question tonight comes from Andrea Chisholm, and it will be directed to Team PNP.
The PNP has promised to move the income tax threshold to $3.5 million starting April 2026 without any new taxes. How much will it cost? Is the timeline realistic? And which programs will be adjusted to accommodate the increase?
Thank you for that question, Andrew. We are committed to implementing the 3.5 threshold starting April 2026. This will be funded from revenue growth, which currently, based on the 1% growth, is projected to generate an additional revenue of $140 billion over a 3-year period. Additionally, we expect within the envelope that exists in the budget has four main components. You have debt servicing, you have salaries and wages, you have the capital budget, and then you have the programmatic budget. As a political party, we would have our own priorities, and we will look at the programmatic budget and make adjustments there. But we will begin implementing the 3.5 million threshold April 2026. However, there are other programs that we have announced that once we assume office, we will immediately, within the envelope that exists for programs, see how we will implement them. For example, ensuring that every needy child gets a hot meal per day. The first in family who goes to university to have a full scholarship. And also the $500,000 grant, which will be given to young first-time owners. So we are going to ensure that we do this in a responsible way fiscally without affecting the budget.
Thank you, Team PNP. Thank you, Team JLP, your rebuttal.
Lies, lies, lies. It cannot be done without imposing new taxes on the backs of Jamaicans. Your 3.5 is the biggest political scam since the history of Jamaica. It cannot be done. You were the people who said when we introduced the 1.5 that it couldn't be done. It would wreck the budget. How do you get from 1.5 to 3.5? It's 3.5 now, right? It used to be 2.3, 3.2, all over the place. Can't be done.
All right. Andrew would like to use the first of her two follow-up questions.
From 14 PMP, I did not hear the cost of the proposed increase in the threshold, nor the programs to be readjusted to accommodate the increase.
The cost of the increase in the threshold would be $55 billion. Now, no political party implements every single thing in 1 year. So we are going to ensure that the implementation is done, which protects the fiscal sacrifices that have been made and will ensure that the adjustments are consistent with the budget. So it's $55 billion that this particular program will cost. And in terms of the readjustment of programs, that is something that we will do once we get into office. When we look, we have priorities which are different from the current government's priorities. And we will make those adjustments within the envelope of $360 billion, which currently exists for programs in the
Thank
budget.
you, Team PNP. Team JLP, you have a rebuttal, 45 seconds.
But first of all, I think we have to be careful about what we hear from that side, because they have been flip-flopping on the issue of income tax threshold and for some time. Their leader has said one thing, then he said he wasn't sure, then he said he wants to do another thing. The principle of increasing the threshold is something that is desirable. Let us be clear, because we did it. We were the ones who came with 1.5. We're moving now to 2.0. And indeed, we are the only government that have reduced taxes in several ways to benefit the Jamaican people. The challenge is the practicality of their solution. This is a one-week proposal, a proposal to win
Thank you,
votes,
Team JLP.
which can't work.
Thank you, Team JLP. Al, you get the chance to pose the first question of the evening to Team JLP.
Hello, good evening. How do you do? On Sunday, the JLP promised to reduce income tax to 15% over a phased basis if it secures a third term in government. This is estimated to cost the country around $135 billion. Where will the money come from to accomplish this, considering there is a projected to be a $35 billion deficit in the budget, and given that many people work in the underground economy?
I'm not sure where that number came from. Our number, based on the technocrats who did it, put it at between 25 to $30 billion. That's our number. That is doable. We are the party that did the 1.5 in a responsible way. We are the party that moved the threshold from 1.5 to 1.7 to 1.8. Next year it'll be 1.9 and then 2.0. We know how to handle the tax affairs, the revenue affairs of the country, and we are going to move with this in a responsible way over time, ensuring that we continue to give back to Jamaicans. You've seen us do the reverse income tax. You've seen us do a number of initiatives, all with the goal of ensuring that the Jamaican people get back monies in their pockets so that they can provide more for themselves and their families.
This administration has been very much the administration that's pragmatic. We have always said to Jamaica what can be done, and then we have done it. We did it with 1.5, and we're doing it again with 2.0, and also our other proposal in terms of 15% income tax. We never say what we cannot do, unlike
Thank
our
you, Team
opposition.
JLP. Thank you, Team PNP. Your rebuttal. 45 seconds.
I want to remind the country that the 1.5 that they boast about cost the country $31 billion in new taxes implemented by the Jamaica Labour Party. The Minister of Finance is saying her estimate is 25 to 30 billion. She's applying the same Pro Box maths that she said you can use $2,000 a month for buy a Pro Box. The most conservative estimate for their program to reduce the income tax rate is $68 billion. So where do you get your maths from? Tell the country, how will you finance it? Which programs will you cut? Where will the money come from?
Thank you, Team PNP. Social media has a question, Amoy.
Thank you, George. Well, the first social media question tonight comes from Makeda on Instagram. Jamaicans both at home and abroad work tirelessly to support their families and contribute to our economy. Yet high taxes and fees on barrels at the wharf, along with frustrating processes, make it difficult and costly for people sending goods home. If selected to serve, what specific and measurable actions will your party take to reduce these costs and simplify these processes?
Team PNP, 90 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We note the developments in the U.S. and other territories as it relates to remittances, and we're observing the situation. We also note that for Jamaicans going to pick up money at agencies, the cost may increase. And that's why we want to encourage the opening of accounts, and with reduced due diligence requirements for these types of accounts, we think more Jamaicans should exercise that option. I think also, though, we want to take a deeper look at the fact that we're so reliant on remittances. At least 20% of our GDP is based on remittances. We need to find a way in the best interest of Jamaicans to have them earn more. And that's why Team PNP is looking at options to have our economy grow. We're looking at options in agriculture with the Agricultural Development Fund of $2.5 billion, where we want to teach our farmers smarter and more efficient ways to go about farming. We're looking at options in logistics. Given our position, we're ideally placed to offer logistic and trade facilitation. We also want to look at our BPOs and increase the value of the services that are offered through our BPOs by upskilling our workforce and training our young people in heart, etc., to do these things which are the careers of the future and not to stick to the careers that now exist.
Team JLP, your 90 seconds, well, your 45, well, your rebuttal.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if we heard the same question. I heard a question that was about or Jamaicans having to clear barrels at the port. And that has been a concern for some of our Jamaicans who do rely on their families overseas to help them. And we, as a country, have always benefited from our diaspora. And that's why we've placed so much emphasis on our diaspora policy through our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That has been very important. And on that matter, we have focused very much on creating efficiencies at the port. And that's important because we understand that we have a larger vision of Jamaica of becoming a logistics hub. We know that this can happen. It is something that the PNP waxed quite well about, this logistics hub, but did nothing. We have been doing work to expand our port, to also improve efficiencies at the port. In addition to that, we have a new Customs Act. We didn't get to the Senate with it, but we took it through the House, which transforms a lot of the framework for our customs area. And so we are working, we understand the plight of our Jamaicans who depend on these. In terms of remittances, that's another area that's very, very important. And we have been doing a lot of our own lobbying in relation to remittances. We've not seen any fall off. We're very happy with our diaspora, and we'll continue to make it easy for our people to benefit.
Time. Thank you very much. We'll now take a short break and invite you to stay tuned.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Tomorrow's success will depend on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia Jamaica Foundation, supporting the well-being of our nation is more than a choice. It's a heartfelt promise to the communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just give me me Kendall. Any time of the day, night as well, just give me me Kendall. Everybody can tell this good great smell, just give me Kendall. Number one in flavor, no parallel. Talk about quality, you know we excel. Spell it out, K-E-N-D-E-L. Give me Kendall.
Another quality product from the Carimed Group.
Just give me Kendall.
At Flow, we understand your rhythm. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you. With a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do. And our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing. No matter what.
Is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is 9:15.
We're committed to excellence and quality. Quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are ARC Manufacturing, made of Jamaica.
This is your reminder on how to mark your ballot. Easy and confidential. When you receive your ballot, take a moment to read it carefully. Mark your ballot clearly with an X beside the symbol of the candidate of your choice. Use only the pencil provided. Make sure it is visible. Once you're done, fold the ballot as instructed and return it to the presiding officer. Your vote is your voice. Make your mark, make it count.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park or all inclusive?
Ask the experts.
If I win, you're not gonna see me in the same outfit twice.
Mommy, I got it covered. Tuition, everything, masters, here I come.
Invest in your future and celebrate while you're at it. Promotion ends September 14th. Conditions apply.
Team, we need to pass the ball quicker, much quicker. And you need to make sure it too. I'm the coach.
And I'm the assistant coach.
No. Your job is to bring the water and keep us hydrated. Matter of fact, where's the water?
I've got it, coach.
Tomorrow's success will depend on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia Jamaica Foundation, supporting the well-being of our nation is more than a choice. It's a heartfelt promise to the communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with Scotiabank for Ever Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, Arc Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the Economy Debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Send them to Jamaica Debates. Well, we now ask Andrea Chisholm to start this segment with a question for Team JLP.
The public sector wage bill consumes close to 50% of tax revenues. The Independent Fiscal Commission has recommended the reintroduction of a cap on public sector wages as a percentage of GDP. But in March, the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament was told the cap was not being considered. Why was the recommendation ignored?
For the public sector wages, I know when you look back in history, there used to be, it calculated as a percentage of GDP. With our current fiscal rules and our debt to GDP rule, those are the two kind of guardrails that we use on the budget to keep everything in line. If we do that, if we keep that focus on our debt to GDP and on our fiscal balance, then everything in the budget will align, and it would not be necessary, it has not been necessary to, keep a cap on the wage bill that way as a percentage of GDP. And as a matter of fact, one time in our history, it was done. When you look back, maybe it was only one time that ratio was ever reached. So there's good faith and confidence in the fiscal balance rules and the debt to GDP in order to help us to keep everything in line in the budget.
Can I also quickly say that this government has done the boldest move to reform and restructure the public sector. First of all, we had 300 different salaries packages, 180 different allowances were consolidated into 16, and it has taken time. We need that time to sort that out.
Jamaica's tax burden at 29% of GDP is the highest in the region. Our middle class has been hollowed out by a generation of belt tightening. It is time that our nurses, our teachers, our police officers, our public servants get to enjoy some of the benefits of years of tight fiscal management. It can't always be that when it comes time for the people to benefit, we are talking about managing fiscal rules, etc. We will observe the fiscal rules, but we believe we must do a social transformation for the people.
Time, thank you very much. Question for Team PNP, Al.
The high interest rate FinSec era was devastating for the Jamaican economy. A World Bank debt management paper dated 21/12/2001 reads in part, the ensuing rapid growth of FinSec debt worsened as interest rates continued to rise, leading to a stock debt of $142 billion as of March 2001. That's about 43% of GDP. This added to an already large pre-crisis public debt burden of more than 100% of GDP, leading to an unsustainable debt path. That period also decimated a generation of local entrepreneurs, so much so that a generation later many are still reticent to invest in the productive sector. What guarantee can you give under your administration that Jamaica will never see history repeating itself, and how do you intend to honor that guarantee?
Well, what we have to ensure is that the agencies that have responsibility for managing and regulating the financial services sector are actually manned by individuals who are competent and professional. The Bank of Jamaica, the Financial Services Commission. Ensuring the BOJ now is an independent agency that has the responsibility for managing interest rates and primarily inflation. At the time, when FinSac took place, the government intervened to ensure that all depositors got back their money. What we want to see is the FinSac report published. The country spent $150 million on a FinSac commission, and all now we can't get the report. We want the FinSac report out. And while you are at it, we will publish the SSL report, because we noticed that depositors have gotten $2. If them did have $100 and there's only $2 them get back. But the most honorable Prime Minister got all his money out of SSL before it collapsed. That is what justice means. We will publish the SSL report, and it is a failure on their part that after all these years, given the impact of FinSac, that there is no report, no independent report. What we have seen is drips and drabs being leaked out by that side. So when we talk about FinSac, let's get all the facts on the table and release the Kroll report from SSL.
Time up.
Interesting that that side can speak as if they're ignorant of FinSac, when some on that very side were involved during the FinSac period and benefited. Just recall the 40-40-40. You mentioned it. 40% of GDP to recover from FinSac, 40,000 businesses lost their money, 40% being offered by merchant banks to make a profit, and DB&G made on average 40% return on their investments, which one of the principals sits across me right here. They cannot talk about fiscal discipline. They cannot talk about management and economy. They presided over the FinSac era. They drove people in some instances to commit suicide based on news reports. They have no moral authority and certainly no economic management, and they are still there. The Jamaican people cannot trust them.
Thank you, time. Al, you wanted to use one of your two follow-up questions?
The first one, yes.
Proceed.
The JLP government has presided over macroeconomic stability. Public debt has come from over 140% of GDP in 2013 to 70% in fiscal year 24-25. Unemployment now stands at just 3.3%. According to Statin, as of July this year, Jamaica's annual headline inflation rate stood at 3.3%. The Bank of Jamaica says as of August 12, 2025, Jamaica's gross international reserves stood at US $6.2 billion. The World Bank, the IMF, the rating agencies all commend Jamaica for this economic performance. How will a PNP government build upon and improve this trajectory?
I think it's important to set context for the question that you have asked. When they left office in 2011, the country was on the precipice of economic collapse. When we got in 2012, we had to restore Jamaica's credibility. We had to establish EPOC. We strengthened and enhanced the fiscal rules. We legislated the debt to GDP ratio so that any government, PNP or JLP, had to pay down that debt. Portia Simpson Miller and Peter Phillips started that race. We passed the baton. We are the persons responsible for the fiscal responsibility that exists today, and we will continue that when we get into office again.
Time, thank you. The Team JLP, you have 45 seconds to rebut.
I am so glad that you named all of those improvements that we've had in our economy. When the PNP was in government, they took a wrecking ball to our economy, and that's a fact. When we took office 9 years ago, we saw high unemployment, we saw high debt, we saw high crime too, and we saw failing infrastructure. And this administration got to work, working on all of those areas. The PNP does not know how to be fiscally responsible. And we have seen that in our history time and time again. And so the data is there. The data shows the Jamaica Labour Party knows how to do it.
Time. Let's take a question from social media. Amoy?
Well, George, this question comes from Facebook. Nikisha is asking, many schools are without basic resources, and as such, some schools are asking parents to contribute certain resources, whether it be in cash or kind. Seeing that economically parents are struggling to pay school fees and meet other needs, how will your administration, if elected, resolve this issue so there will be an ease on parents' pockets?
Team JLP.
Thank you for that question, and we definitely understand the burden that a lot of our parents feel. And it is for that reason that we have focused quite a bit on how we can get our children to school. Let me give you some realities from going around to our schools, especially in rural areas. When I go to school on a Friday, classes are sometimes half empty. And when you ask our teachers why, they say money ran out. What keeps them at home? High transportation costs and also the high cost of lunch. And that's what we have decided to focus on. The rural school bus system is precisely because of that. I had one mother in St. Thomas say to me, it costs her $1,200 a day to send one of her children to school, and that it is so expensive that she ends up having to choose which one goes to school sometimes. We cannot have a country like that. In addition to that, in terms of our meals, we have expanded meals to 5 days a week for those on path who need it the most. In addition to that, we're now going to be adding breakfast to our students in our schools that are the most underperforming. All of that on the backs of the hard work of Minister Williams and the Ministry of Finance team. We understand the costs and we're working hard, including in providing more books in the public sector so that our parents can have less of a burden.
Time, Team PNP, your 90 seconds.
Chris, you're correct that DBNG was a very successful company. And it was a publicly listed company that our audited financial statements were open to the public. So everyone knows where Peter Bunting and Mark Golding got their wealth from. You and your Prime Minister cannot say the same. Now, in terms of our arrangements for public transportation, particularly rural school transportation, that school bus system was a political gimmick. We cannot be buying new trucks to transport garbage, and we're buying 15-year-old buses to transport our most precious cargo, our children. That was just an opportunity for somebody to eat a food. Let us be clear about that. It was totally unsuitable. In deep rural communities, we cannot afford parallel transportation systems, a school bus and a system for adults. So what we have proposed is a subsidy of $10,000 per month per child for those parents who need it, for those children who are unable to attend school 5 days a week. What we have proposed is a hot meal every day for those children who need it. That is real progress.
I'm surprised too, Peter, that the Minister of Education is speaking as if she didn't know all of this.
Time. Andrea, your question for Team JLP.
The requirement for a 12-year experience in law enforcement was removed from the January 2025 job advertisement for the position of Chief Technical Director of the Financial Investigations Division. Why was the law enforcement requirement removed?
I want to make it clear that on the job description for the head of the FID, there are a number of different qualifications that an applicant could have. There were at least 6 different skill sets that that applicant could have. When the whole process of going through recruiting was done outside of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, and they went through a very public recruitment process. The job was advertised, interviewed. No one qualified to be accepted. Normally, in the course of advertising for jobs, if you go out once, if you go out twice, and you see that you're not getting the skill set, the particular skill set, and the job description allows you to be flexible, then obviously, as a responsible HR person looking to fill the position, then you would do that. That is what was done. There's nothing underhanded about it. It was all transparent. And we have a very competent person heading the FID currently, and I look forward to continue working with him.
Team PNP, your rebuttal.
This is not true. I know as a certain fact that senior police officers with investigative experience for many years who have coordinated international investigations, who have headed the intelligence bureau, they applied for the job and they were turned down. The truth of the matter is it was a set hand. Dennis Strong applied for the job when he said he saw nothing wrong with in the Integrity Commission report. There were clear red flags for money laundering, cash from undisclosed depositors deposited to the Prime Minister's personal account, 470 billion flowing through multiple accounts. That's called layering. These were clear red flags.
Thank you very much. Time. Al, your question for Team PNP.
A look at MSMEs. Many people looking to fund the business in Jamaica bemoan the strangulating red tape and lack of access to finance from lending institutions. In the new century, we're seeing the rise of new types of businesses, young people into digital technology, the creative and services sector. Harold Davis of Jamaica Business Development Corporation makes the point that access to finance has two sides of the coin, and that it's appropriateness of the financial product that is available. And when I say appropriateness, I speak of the product that is right for the particular industry or the particular stage of business of the entrepreneur. What will you do to address this and better help small businesses in Jamaica?
We wholeheartedly agree. As a matter of fact, as a former CEO of a financial institution in Jamaica, I can say it's a problem that we struggled with in the absence of government having adequate policy and facilities to make it happen. We will, as the next PNP administration, ensure that we revisit the loan processes for our MSMEs. We recognize that they're an important part of the engine of growth for the economy, and we recognize their struggles. We note that we would have to help them with some amount of business planning. We'd have to help them to get themselves ready to borrow. But it is a win-win situation. When they borrow, they are able to grow. When they grow, they're able to contribute to the economy, and we will be able to get tax revenues from them. So it's very important for us to have our MSMEs grow, and to also encourage young entrepreneurs in the economy to participate.
What we are going to do is remove income tax for MSMEs for the first 3 years. Why are we doing this? The reason MSMEs remain informal is because they don't want to pay tax. But remaining informal limits their growth because they can only get money from friends and families and a partner draw. So by removing the income tax for the first 3 years, they can formalize, they can grow, they can access bank, equity funding. That is what we are doing to grow the MSME sector.
Time. Thank you. Thank you, Team JLP. Your rebuttal.
PNP talks a good talk, but in reality, that's not the fact. 2015, 8,000 companies were registered with the Company Office. 2024, 23,000 companies, twice that number. The fact is, Jamaicans are more energized to form companies, to come out of the informal sector. DBJ, over that 8-year period, loaned almost $70 billion US, 117 billion of investments, 86,000 applicants. That is why our economy has started to turn around. And I want to say to Peter that he must be careful about innuendos, hearsays, and propaganda. First of all, your FinSac era, I don't know how you're comfortable with it. The Contractor General at the time accused you of sweetheart dealings, you and your partners. You cannot now say that you earn your money in a way that is legitimate and above board.
Time. Amoy has a question from social media.
This question is from TikTok. The user who sent in this question is Kamar Jackson. Under the current administration, brain drain has become an increasingly pressing issue, negatively impacting our economy. Considering the various causes of this trend, such as limited employment opportunities, inadequate compensation, and governance concerns, what specific strategies and reforms would your government implement to address the key drivers of this problem and ensure the retention of skilled professionals?
Team JLP.
Thank you very much for that question, Cameron Jackson. That area of brain drain has been an issue for a long time. I saw it. I left university in 2001, and most of my classmates left this country because they didn't feel there was an opportunity. And it's for that reason why we focused a lot of our policies, and if you look in our manifesto, there's a huge section for young people, because we believe in a few things. We believe that every young person, as they've told us, wants to own a home one day. And that's why we have allocated 15% of every NHT house built to our young people who are under 35. We're also increasing employment. 280,000 more young people have been brought into the labor force. We're providing jobs, and we're looking for higher paying ones through the work that we're doing in terms of training our people. 500,000 young people have been trained since 2020 at Heart, and we're going to continue doing that.
In addition to that, let me remind Jamaica that it is this government that has brought unemployment to its lowest level ever. In fact, the participation rate in the job market is 68%, the highest it has ever been. Under their watch, people lost jobs. They borrowed and spent, or taxed and spent. Under this government, no new taxes, and jobs have been created. This is a more responsible government, and the future of young people are brighter with the JLP.
Thank you. Team PNP, your 90 seconds to answer the question.
Raising the tax threshold to 3.5 million, the tax-free threshold to 3.5 million, is one of the most fundamental and revolutionary things we can do to retain our best and brightest. As I said, this is a manifesto that we've put forward, not just about a campaign for the next election. This is about the next generation. We want to ensure that our teachers, our nurses, our police officers can provide for their families in the way they should. We want to rebuild the working class and the middle class. We want to ensure that buying a house, buying a car, aspiring to improve, to lift your whole generation is not merely a dream. So yes, what we have proposed is radical. It's transformational. It's going to require a shaking up and a reordering of all the priorities of government. That's not accidental. We're working for a social revolution. People are not going to elect a new government to do the same thing that the outgoing one is elected to do.
When I hear them speak, I wonder which young people they're speaking about. When I speak to young people, they tell me they have no hope of owning a home. With the NHT limit being raised to 9 million, the problem is that the houses cost 40 million. There's no hope.
Time, Mrs. Anderson, time. We now take a short break and invite you to stay tuned.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just give me me candle. Anytime of the day, night as well, just give me me candle. Everybody can tell this good great smell, just give me candle. No one in flavor, no parallel. Talk about quality, you know we excel. When it's all K-E-N-D-E-L, give me candle.
Another quality product from the CariMed Group.
Just give me candle.
Tomorrow's success will depend on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia Jamaica Foundation, supporting the well-being of our nation is more than a choice. It's a heartfelt promise to the communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
At Flow, we understand your rhythm. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you. With a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do. And our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing. No matter what.
We love our country. Like you, we take pride in building Jamaica. The resilience of our people is cemented in our products, built to last for generations. Laying the foundation for thriving communities, we're committed to excellence and quality. quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are ARC Manufacturing, made of Jamaica.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park or all inclusive?
Ask the experts. Sing high! If I win, you're not gonna see me in the same outfit twice.
Mommy, I got it covered. Tuition, everything, masters, here I come.
Invest in your future and celebrate while you're at it. Promotion ends September 14th. Conditions apply.
Team, we need to pass the ball quicker, much quicker. And you need to make sure. Need to. I'm the coach. And I'm the assistant coach. No. Your job is to bring the water and keep us hydrated. Matter of fact, where's the water? I've got it, coach.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just gimme me Kendall. Anytime of the day, night as well, just gimme me Kendall. Everybody can tell this good great smell, just gimme me Kendall. Number one in flavor, no parallel. Talk about quality, you know we excel. Spell it out, Kendel. Gimme me Kendall.
Another quality product from the Carimed Group.
Just gimme me Kendall.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with Scotiabank for every future. Kendall, the taste of quality. Flow, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the Economy Debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Send them to Jamaica Debates. We'll now ask Andrea to start this segment with a question for Team PNP.
Described the 0% in year one as an insult to public sector workers. The party says they have looked at the budget and fiscal policy paper and will do better for the public sector workers if elected. What percentage increase would a PNP administration propose?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say, we are going to treat public sector workers with respect and dignity. I won't talk to the JTA president like the Minister of Education and say him performing at his conference. That is disrespect. Disrespect is when you need to get a meeting, you have to get restive and threaten strike action. The fiscal policy paper has, in its first year, 9%. In the second year, 6%. In the third year, 6%. They have offered 0. That is not an offer. We will do better. But by lifting the income tax threshold to 3.5 million, we are easing the pressure. We ease in the pressure on our nurses. We ease in the pressure on our policemen. We ease in the pressure so that more money will be in their pockets. They have a history of dealing with civil servants with disrespect. You right now have 2 sets of civil servants in the same office doing the same thing and earning different salaries. A whole set of anomalies that arose from the public sector compensation review. They haven't addressed it. There's supposed to be a meeting tomorrow with the JCTU and you cancel it. They are the ones who treat them with disrespect. We have a history of working with our public sector in the interest of this country, and we will continue to do so. So when we come into office, it will be better than 0% because there is money in the budget to provide better for public servants.
Team JLP, your rebuttal?
This is a government that has given the public sector the largest wage increase in the history of Jamaica. What did the public sector know under the PNP? Wage freeze after wage freeze after wage freeze. We are committed to continue negotiating with our unions. Negotiation is a process. We still remain at the table. Our Prime Minister has indicated that we will get to a point that is satisfactory for the public sector workers and for Jamaica as a whole. We remain committed to the public sector workers.
Time, Mrs. Williams, time. Thank you. Al, your question to Team JLP.
In fiscal year 2013-14, the then Minister of Finance, Peter Phillips, balanced the budget. Minister Phillips met the targets for the primary surplus and the budget deficit. The JLP said at the time, including you, Minister Williams, that the then PNP government was preoccupied with passing the IMF test and not the people's test. Can it be said of this JLP administration that it is preoccupied with reducing the debt instead of growing the economy and passing the people's test?
We are passing the people's tests. If you look at what we have done, what we have achieved, all that we have achieved, we have done it for the people of Jamaica. Look at roads, look at new jobs created, look at the level of inflation, look at the number of houses that are being built. We are going gangbusters. Every day we wake up, it is to grow the economy. During our administration, we have grown the economy. We have had 33 quarters of growth, interrupted only by COVID and by Hurricane Beryl. We wake up every day to ensure that this economy expands so that there are opportunities for our men and women in the society.
When we speak of the people's test, all these nice economic jargon about GDP and debt to GDP ratio and all of that don't mean anything to the ordinary person, to most of our Jamaicans. What they think about is how is everything that we're doing affecting the quality of their life. We're giving more water. 350,000 more people have water. 280,000 more jobs created. We are improving the quality of life of our people.
Team PNP, your rebuttal.
What I want to ask every Jamaican, is your life better? Can you afford the same things you used to be able to afford? Do you have to choose between paying your utilities, buying food, or buying medication? Is your life better?
The lived reality, notwithstanding the macroeconomic numbers of most Jamaicans, is a struggle to put food on the table. When you go to the supermarket or the corner shop, you pick up things and you have to put it back down. If you suffer the misfortune of going to a hospital, you have to sit down on one chair for 2 or 3 days. And what we have seen at Cornwall Regional, it moved from 1.5 billion to 25 billion. That is the waste that we will eliminate so we can put money back in the hands of the Jamaican people.
Thank you very much. Time. Al would like to use this second and final follow-up question. Al.
According to the World Bank, the Jamaican economy average annual growth over the last decade is around 0.8%. Why is this? And what will you do to get it to around 5%?
Thanks for that question. Thanks for that question on growth. There have been many impediments to growth, and we have seen that documented in many places. If we look at the impediments, they include training, and we're doing that, 500,000 trained. Another impediment to growth is the high electricity cost, and we have taken the decision to not continue on that bad JPS contract because we know we need to have lower electricity costs. In addition to that, infrastructure is another impediment to growth, and that's why we've spent so much money on fixing our roads, providing internet access across this country, and improving our investments in technology. We understand that in order to bring the growth rate up, we are going to have to do these things.
You have 45 seconds.
What they haven't spoken about is how corruption has impacted that growth. How our foreign direct investment has moved from 900 million in 2015 to 300 million today. That 11 of them are under investigation for illicit enrichment. I, Julian J. Robinson, can categorically state, I am not under investigation. Can the three of you say that? We need growth. We understand the assignment now. We have consolidated our economy. We have to improve the outcomes in education, which have been poor. You talk about energy. It took you 8 years to put out a request for proposal for renewables. Why? Because of the corruption at the Ministry of Education, where you see 4 ministers over 8 years.
Time. Thank you. Social media, Amoy.
All right, so we're on TikTok, and I'm seeing a question here from Joe. Policies often target low-income earners, while high-income earners are generally believed to be able to manage on their own. What in your plans directly supports middle-income Jamaicans who are caught in the squeeze?
Team PNP.
So, the contrast between the JLP's approach of reducing the income tax rate for everyone versus the PNP's approach of lifting the threshold is a prime example of that. The cabinet ministers and the prime ministers will benefit the most from the reduction in the rate of income tax. Police officers, nurses, doctors, security guards, public servants, those who are at the rank and file of the police level, everyone who earns under 3.5 million will be the major beneficiaries of our program. That is what differentiates our approach from theirs. They talk about prosperity. It's prosperity for them and their cronies. When we talk about putting people at the center of our policies and programs, it's because we want to lift everyone. We want to lift those at the bottom. We want to build out the middle class. We want education to become a bridge from one generation to another to move them to another level in society.
And we will continue to lift the standards of the majority of the Jamaican people. The income tax threshold, we're going to remove tax on overtime so that our security guards, our nurses will get a break and you put more money in their pockets.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Team JLP.
The PNP does not understand how the economy works. First of all, they talk about our performance. Our performance we're very proud of. We created the lowest poverty rate in the country on record. We created more jobs with more participation in the economy on record. And while we're doing that, we are building out new industries in digital technology, in our port facilities, for logistics hub, as well as maintaining and building on the traditional industries that are there. Most persons in Jamaica today, young persons who have a skill, can find a job. That was not the case under the People's National Party. And I want to just come back to this issue of corruption, because they seem to think that they can speak about things in mid-air without any evidence, innuendos and suppositions, as if people are going to accept that. What the Jamaican people want is who is going to look after them, who will bring down crime. Peter Bunting depended on divine intervention without work. In fact, he is on record, I believe, as the only Minister of National Security who was unable to secure himself. And I am happy he's okay from that unfortunate incident in Portland. But it speaks to confidence in their policy to reduce crime. This government has reduced crime by the lowest over 30 years. And this is what Jamaicans want. They felt unsafe under the PNP. They feel a lot safer under the Jamaica Labour Party.
Mr. Tufton, thank you. Time. We now take a short break and invite you to stay tuned.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Tomorrow's success will depend on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia Jamaica Foundation, supporting the well-being of our nation is more than a choice. It's a heartfelt promise to the communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just give me me candle. Anytime of the day, night as well, just give me me candle. Everybody can tell this good great smell, just give me candle. No one in flavor, no parallel, about quality, you know we excel. When it's all K-E-N-D-E-L, give me candle.
Another quality product from the Carimed Group.
Just give me candle.
bad flow, we understand your rhythm. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you. With a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do. And our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing. No matter what.
We love our country. Like you, we take pride in building Jamaica. The resilience of our people is cemented in our products, built to last for generations. Laying the foundation for thriving communities, we're committed to excellence and quality. Quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are ARC Manufacturing, made of Jamaica.
The Jamaica Debates Commission presents the General Elections Debates in association with Scotiabank, Forever Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. See the leaders' debate between the two major political parties live August 28 at 9 p.m. It's a political must-see. Don't miss the General Elections Debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park or all inclusive?
Ask the experts. Sing high! If I win, you're not gonna see me in the same outfit twice.
Mommy, I got it covered. Tuition, everything, masters, here I come.
Invest in your future and celebrate while you're at it. Promotion ends September 14. Conditions apply.
Team, we need to pass the ball quicker, much quicker. And you need to make sure. Need to. I'm the coach. And I'm the assistant coach.
No. Your job is to bring the water and keep us hydrated.
Matter of fact, where's the water? I've got it, coach.
The General Elections Debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with Scotiabank, Forever Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote. The General
Welcome back to
Election...
the economy debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Send them to Jamaica Debates. We now ask Andrea to start the final segment, with a question for Team JLP.
The central bank has cut its policy interest rate from 7% in July 2024 to 5.75% in August 2025. The regulator has been pleading with the banks, the commercial banks, to further reduce lending rates, but it's not happening fast enough. What will your administration do to further pressure banks to cut their lending rates?
Okay. So we are seeing interest rates come down, and we're getting early signs that the rates to borrowers is also coming down. Just recently, I was speaking to the DBJ. You know that the DBJ unlends to the banks to lend to our MSMEs, and DBJ reported that they are seeing lower rates in the marketplace from banks. As the Bank of Jamaica bring rates down, which it will, we fully expect that our borrowers are going to begin to see lower rates in the marketplace on the various loans.
I think that the reforms that are taking place within the banking sector, the independent central bank, which has to drive this issue, that's why we supported the independence of the central bank, and competition. What we have been working on, but I do agree we need to work on it more, and this is for the next administration, is to make it easier for someone to move their account from one bank to the next. We believe ultimately in the market, within reason, of course, with a regulatory framework, not like them who allowed an attempt at liberalization that drove us into FinSA.
Thank you. Team PNP, your rebuttal.
Before the break, Chris had the gall of claiming success with crime. The fact is that more Jamaicans have been murdered under this JLP administration, almost 13,000 murdered in their 2 terms than in any other 2 terms in the history of Jamaica. That is failure, not success. We commend the police for the job they've been doing this year in reducing it, but you can't take credit for that. That's despite your failed SOE policies.
What we will do to ensure that the banking sector is more competitive, we are going to ensure government deposits. There's a system to ensure that all banks participate in government deposits.
Thank you. Al, I invite you to pose a question to Team PNP.
The former CEO of Grace Kennedy, the late Don Webby, consistently called on Jamaica to reduce its food importation bill by half by 2030. Given that Jamaica spends around $1 billion a year on imported food, and according to the FAO, Jamaica's food imports account for approximately 21% of its total merchandise imports, what will your government be doing to reduce the food importation in a meaningful way?
Under the JLP administration, the imported food cost has doubled. It was $800 million US 10 years ago. It is now $1.6 billion. That 800 million US dollars, or about 150 billion Jamaican dollars, should be going into the pockets of the farmers of South Manchester, South St. Elizabeth, and farmers all over Jamaica. We have committed to forming an agricultural development fund. This is going to ensure that we inject new technology, new machinery into our farming communities. It's going to ensure that we put adequate post-harvest storage and processing facilities in place to reduce the 30% or more that's lost. We are going to ensure that funding is available for our farmers.
And we commit to the Jamaican people and to the farmers of Jamaica to reduce importation by 25% in our first term. We also commit to helping farmers access financing at more affordable rates and terms. We also commit to helping them with products such as insurance to ensure that when natural disasters hit, the impact to them for recovery is not as high.
Team JLP, your report.
First of all, there is a need to do more to develop our local industry for self-sufficiency, but also for export. The fact is this government has done a lot. In fact, if you look at the last 8 years on domestic export has gone up by some 31%. What it means is that more local companies within a much friendlier environment are in fact producing and exporting. But it is a fact that we are importing more at the same time. That is simple. We have an economy that affords the capacity to demand more. We have a thriving tourism industry and we have a consumer who is earning more. This will contribute to a greater demand. It's a process, but it's also a sign of success by this government.
Thank you. Andrea, I invite you to pose a question to Team JLP.
Major platforms such as Meta, Google, and TikTok are earning money and data from the Jamaican economy, but they are not paying taxes in Jamaica. What policy changes will your administration pursue to ensure that Jamaica directly collects taxes from these platforms?
So we recognize that those companies that you mentioned are not paying tax to the Jamaican government. We have our tax entities in conversation with these entities to ensure that the Jamaican people get their fair share of taxes from these companies. We sit on some of the international bodies that look at taxes across different countries to ensure that there's fairness in what's being done. And I know that we will pursue it vigorously to ensure that Jamaica is not left out as these companies thrive on our data.
What's important to also note is that a lot of our young people are using these platforms. I know recently I saw someone on TikTok selling some nice products that I thought about buying. So our young people are using these platforms very well, and they're creating content that is absolutely amazing. And so we have the tax side that the minister has said that we're looking at in a more multilateral kind of approach, as we tend to do as Jamaicans. But also, there are also other concerns too in relation to artificial intelligence. They're using a lot of our creative energy. They're using our music. They're using our cultural ideas. And those are going into AI programs, and that's something we have to look at.
Thank you. Rebuttal, Team PNP.
It's clear that there's no policy to deal with this. This is where we have to work with our CARICOM states to develop a common policy. Why? Because these are large multinationals. Their GDP would dwarf the entire Caribbean region. And so it requires some consensus among the region to ensure that you implement a policy which every country agrees to and that you can stand the test of time. We recognize the importance of our creatives. That's why we are establishing a $1 billion fund. Not like the film fund that has disbursed zero, but a $1 billion fund for creatives, for artists or singers or potters, the people who create content so they can build their businesses.
Time, thank you. Social media, Moy.
On social media platform X, Sean from Kingston says, free healthcare means little if hospitals don't have CT machines, x-rays, or even basic supplies. What short-term financial measures will you take within the first 2 years, if you win, to fix these shortages and ensure patients can actually access proper care?
Team PNP, you go first.
You know, I really wanted the Minister of Health to focus on these issues, but him seem more preoccupied with dealing with FinSAC and other people's business. Because if he spent more time dealing with Cornwall Regional, we wouldn't have a $25 billion overrun. If he spent more time dealing with the hospital sector, when people go there, they wouldn't have to sit on a wooden chair for 3 days. And when they have to do an MRI or CT scan, they have to pay $50,000 for go. And the same ambulance for take them have to pay for it too. And them can't get toilet paper in the hospital. Our health sector is failing despite the amount of money we have spent. It is the inefficiency of the Jamaica Labour Party why we are here. We are going to ensure the dignity of Jamaicans who have to traverse our public health system. They have been failed by this administration. And that is why we are committed to ensuring that monies which come into the coffers go for the benefit. So when we look on the drill and we drill down, it shouldn't cost $31 million for a $3 million drill. Because what does that do? When you go to the hospital, you have to pay now based on that wastage, that corruption, and that inefficiency. What can go so, Jamaica? How can you feel comfortable?
There are currently no CT scan or MRI services available at Mandeville Regional Hospital because the private providers have not been paid.
Time, Team JLP.
Well, let me just start by saying I wasn't the one in 2015 who said we had to use garbage bags as aprons or cut a soap in two. That is their spokesperson of health who spoke about the crisis in the system. So we have come a long way, and we started from a very low base. It is incorrect to say we don't have CT scan, just to say to your social media person. We have CT scans, we have MRIs. In fact, we have more digital machines in our health system than any time before. We need more, but we have done better than the PNP up to 2015 when they were there. Oh, I have more time. Let me also say, because I have a lot to say, that we have embarked on the largest expansion of hospital build-out than any other government since independence, the largest upgrading of health centers than any other government since independence. We have hired we have put in our establishment over 3,000 doctors and nurses, double the numbers of community health aides, and last year we served up 3 million prescriptions to Jamaicans on the National Health Fund. In their 2015 year, they did less than 1 million. The facts are that more Jamaicans are being served by our health system. Do we need to do more? I am the first to say yes, which is why we need the next term to complete the work that we are doing. They talk about the issue, they did nothing. As far as corruption is concerned, that's innuendos and talk, no proof of that, and I condemn them for that kind of position.
Time. Thank you. All right, we're at that segment at that point in the debate where we allow the teams to ask a question of the other, yeah? So we're going to start with Team JLP posing a question to Team PNP.
Thank you. It is our considered view that the 3.5 million threshold increase that was recently announced is nothing but a Sam-Fi political scam. In the beginning it was 2.1, then it became 3, then it disappeared, and then it appeared 1 week before an election. You have to tell the people of Jamaica, I ask you to tell the people of Jamaica, is this just an election scam, or is it that you are going to be cutting much needed services such as NHF, where we spend $19 billion for drugs in hospitals, or university spending, which is $17 billion. Tell us how you plan to really cut discretionary areas, as you have called them.
I answered the question already, but I'm going to answer it again for the Jamaican people. I have said we are going to raise the threshold to $3.5 million. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that because your budget says that $140 billion of additional government revenues will be earned over 3 years. But that is at your 1% growth, which you have no ambition on. We're going to grow the economy by more than that so that we can pay for these things. There's also a benefit when you put more money in the hands of people because they're going to spend it, which will allow the government to collect more on GCT and other indirect taxes. We are the party committed to ensuring that all Jamaicans thrive and not just a few. Our plan is better. It is more equitable. Their plan will benefit the richer people more. Ours will benefit the working people, our nurses, our policemen, the security guards, the civil servants, to put more money to ease the pressure of the cost of living that they have to face. That is our commitment as a party of social justice and equality. So when you talk about Samfire, what Samfire you're talking about? Madness you're talking about? We will deliver on behalf of the Jamaican people. We have a history of protecting our most vulnerable and ensuring that they have more money to spend so that they can protect their families and those around them.
Time. JLP, you have a 45-second rebuttal.
Jamaicans, the 3.5 million threshold is the largest political scam. They cannot tell you how they're going to fund it. They look at the current budget, they see the projections growing to 140 billion, but they don't tell you that expenses are also growing. So that's not available for you to use towards the 3.5. And you also put out an ad showing how much people are going to get on a monthly basis. You know that's a lie. They may get it for 1 month, but it's not going to be there. The 3.5 that you're talking about cannot be done.
Williams, thank you. Time. Team PNP, your turn to pose a question to Team JLP.
How can you be trusted to keep promises when you've broken promises on impeachment legislation, unexplained wealth orders, term limits, grand referenda? You've attacked the Integrity Commission relentlessly. You've undermined them. You have even failed to sign the Code of Conduct, basic principles dealing with integrity, honesty, selflessness, and accountability. How can anybody take your word? How do they know that those candidates who are under investigation for illicit enrichment are not offering themselves
out there right now to the public, secretly knowing that they are corrupt. The clock isn't working, by the way.
Oh, the clock isn't. Okay, I'm just going to still go ahead and answer that question. It's a very curious question because I know in the 90s when I became politically aware, I remember politics and scandals. I remember hearing light bulb scandal, fat cat scandal, and then the mother of all scandals, FinSac. When you look in your dictionary and you look for scandal, you see the PNP right there. In terms of the Integrity Commission, it is this administration that implemented it. It is this administration that puts $2 billion annually to it. It is this administration in our manifesto that says we're going to strengthen our corruption prevention mechanisms in this country. It is this administration that has delivered Jamaica's best anti-corruption score. And it's not us that said it. It is an international body, Transparency International. We have been the ones that have been taking Jamaica on the path of anti-corruption, not the PNP.
In addition to that, let me just say very clearly that the Jamaican people are concerned about their lives, their livelihood, their communities, and by extension, Jamaica. They talk, we deliver. We have delivered the lowest unemployment, the lowest poverty, reduced crime despite Peter's objection by over 40%, the lowest in 30 years. That is what is important to the people of Jamaica.
Mr. Tufton. Time, thank you. Team PNP, you have a 45-second rebuttal.
It's interesting that they say that people are concerned about their standard of living because they're talking about things that happened in the 90s. That's over 30 years ago. Young people who are listening, does that affect your life now? Yet still, they're not speaking about the scandals that young people, anybody 25 years and younger, would have experienced what happened with rural reading education, to the point that education is behind. We are celebrating as a country five subjects being attained by 19% of our children. That's 1 in every 5. Is your child one of the 5 that is attaining 5 subjects? And if your child is not, what is happening to them? Our standards are too low. What happened to the used car scandal? What happened to Petrojam scandal? And I'm sure there are many others. Come on, man. 30 years ago we're talking about.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Thank you. Time. Okay. What we're going to do now is this. We're going to invite Team PNP to deliver a closing statement of 2 minutes in length.
Jamaica, the current macroeconomic figures look good, but what is your lived reality? What do you go through every single day? The reality you face is that you are living hand to mouth. You are working, but you can only afford to go to work and come back based on the wages that you earn. You are working poor. 55% of Jamaicans are considered food insecure, which means they cannot afford to eat a proper meal per day. If they go to the hospitals that Chris supposed to build, them can't find toilet paper or a bed. Jamaica, you deserve better. Time come for a better life. The next People's National Party administration will lift the tax threshold to 3.5 million, so we can put more money in the pockets of working Jamaicans. We are going to eliminate the tax on overtime, so that again people can get a break. The same people who are working hard to build our economy. We are going to run a more efficient economy, so that this thing called the Office of Plenty Ministries, that is a bottleneck where nothing can go through and it takes you a year to do something. We are going to eliminate those efficiencies so that we can grow the economy beyond 1%. We are going to ensure that anybody who is the first in their family gets a scholarship, and that means for persons who are currently at university, we're going to ensure that those who are buying a house get the $500,000 deposit. And I want to assure persons who earn over 3.5 million that this tax benefit is for you too. So what are we going to do? We're going to build a Jamaica in which all Jamaicans can feel a part of. So come September 3rd, when you go to the polling station, I want you to think carefully. I want you to use your head and put the X beside the head.
Time. Thank you. May I add that the order of the closing statement was predetermined by a coin toss. Team JLP, your 2 minutes.
My fellow Jamaicans, in 2016, you asked the Jamaica Labour Party, you gave them your vote of confidence to correct the ills within our economy caused by the People's National Party. They served 24 of 27 years and created more debt, more unemployment, more poverty than any other administration. Fast forward to today, 2025, we have the lowest poverty rate, we have the lowest unemployment rate, we have a macroeconomic stable society, we have more companies registering to start their business, we have crime that has been the monster of your business, your personal life, down the lowest in 30 years, all by the policies of this government. We still have some ways to go. Our hospital and health centers have embarked on the largest expansion and build out. They left it as a disaster. We have had to correct it. We ask you, on September 3rd, give the Jamaica Labour Party the opportunity to continue the work. We have done more for you than any other administration, and certainly more than the PNP has ever done. They are now coming with a one-week plan, essentially, to get your vote by claiming 3.5 when they rejected our 1.5 when we started. They don't know how to get us there. We will get you there. We are about protecting yourselves, your families, your communities by doing what is necessary. That is all that matters. Their diversion around innuendos, rumors, targeting persons, and character assassination does not impact you in your community. It is about the water, the road, the health services, and this government has done more. On the 3rd of September, put your X beside the bell, vote for the Jamaica Labour Party.
Thank you. In the good spirit of the debates, we invite Team JLP and Team PNP to meet in the middle and shake hands. You can applaud. All right. That concludes the economy debate between Dana Morris-Dixon, Fayval Williams, and Christopher Tufton for Team Jamaica Labour Party, and Julian Robinson, Kisha Anderson, and Peter Bunting for Team PNP. Join us again Thursday, August 28, 9 p.m. sharp for the final debate in the 2025 general election debate series, The Leaders Debate, featuring party leaders Dr. Andrew Holness from the JLP and Mark Golding from the PNP. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our studio audience, our production crew, production and recording partners, and most of all, our viewers and listeners all across Jamaica and in the diaspora. I am All right.
Political theatre at its finest. It was intensely intriguing, a mouth-watering matchup indeed. Jamaicans have been tricked. That was not a debate on the economy. That was economy plus so much more. I'm going to start out getting responses from my expert panelists. I just want to go quickly, firstly, to Ronaldina McLean. Based on that debate, was the move by the JDC to change the format a success or failure? In 10 seconds.
So, I don't think it turned out the way I would have wanted it to turn out. You say it was a debate on the economy plus much more. I think it was a debate on much more minus the economy, because I didn't hear enough discussion of actual economic policy. And so I just think broadly it was a debate that was deficient of policy. Didn't hear much about how we're going to move people into the formal sector more, about how we're going to diversify the economy away from tourism, about how we're going to create opportunities for young people, about how we're going to stimulate investment. I heard a lot about corruption. I heard a lot about FinSac. I heard a lot about the achievements or the deficiencies of the past 9 years, not much more about how we're going to move people through the next 5. So, because of that, I mean, there was obviously, we expected the discussion on the tax policies, and those came very upfront in the debate. I think the PNP almost used their $3.5 million threshold increase tax policy as a catch-all for everything. It was how they're going to keep people in the skilled labor in the country, as well as how they're going to keep people who are unsatisfied with wage increases happy.
Was that strategy effective?
I don't think it was, because I think people want so much more. I don't think it was even properly explained to begin with. So I think we're still left not knowing what exactly will be cut for them to pay for the hike, or on what timeline it will be implemented.
Stimulate more spending in the economy, so to collect more taxes on like purchases and stuff like that.
Right.
Julian,
but he also said that they will restructure. He said they will restructure discretionary expenditure, and said that when they go to the wicket, they'll figure it out, basically.
I want to challenge you a little bit on some of these, because I say it was so many more things minus the economics. I don't know, so I agree that it's minus the economics. I guess you're referring to some of the theatrics that we saw there in terms of but isn't that what a debate about, though, some of the issues in terms of the tit for tat? Is that what makes it interesting? And isn't this exactly what Jamaicans wanted, a little bit more than just the economy to put people to sleep like a yawn fest?
So I didn't really have an issue with the tit for tats. They were entertaining. My issue was the lack of interesting policy discussion for the next 5 years. So lots of economic issues were discussed and addressed and raised. And I think in terms of an entertaining, flashy debate performance, it was stronger than the last one we had on social issues, for sure.
On that, just pause quickly. I want to get a reaction as well from two of your colleagues.
Sure.
Javon Downey, you're also a member of the Jamaican Association of Debating and Empowerment. I just want to get your reactions quickly. Go to him, Raymond, on his thoughts on this debate, this new format. Before, we saw the JDC using, the Minister of Finance, or the incumbent Minister of Finance, plus the opposition spokesperson on finance, traditionally participating in this debate. We saw the team debate this time. Just ostensibly, did that work?
It depends on what you're looking for. I think for the viewing audience, it works because it adds layer and it adds flair to the debate, because it takes it outside of the scope of what economists per se are known for. And like you said, and like Ronaldina hinted to, economic debates are usually a snooze fest. But now that we've added these additional persons to help break down some serious economic matters and economic issues, it makes it more relevant and it makes it more applicable to the lives of the average man. So I think for that purposes, it works.
Pause right there. I just want to make the record clear. I did not say that economic debates are always a snooze fest or a yawn fest. I'm saying we've seen that in the past. And I hear Dr. Clark here itching to say, no, go so. Do not disrespect debates on the economy. They can be entertaining if the people who are speaking can break down the issues. So, for clarity, continue. You were saying on another point about the debate as well, from your perspective, in terms of why you weren't so pleased with it.
Yeah, so additionally to that though, so outside of the flair and the theatrics, like Ronaldina said, I expected more discussion centered around policies and like we would have asked or preempted that would have been discussed in the pre-show. We wanted to hear about diversification of the economy. We wanted to hear how do we move into the future, especially us as are gathered in this audience. We are mostly young people, and we want to hear what will be happening, how will we be taken into the next 5 years and beyond. And really and truly, we did not get a lot of that. It was more so reminiscent of what was and what currently is happening.
Can I challenge you on that, Javon? Isn't that what the manifestos are for, though? The details, the devil in the details. And for this tonight, though, it should be for the flair and for the big topic issues like the tax breaks that they spoke about. Those are the things that we get a little bit of, plus a lot more of the theatrics to entice you to want to dig into the manifesto. Wouldn't that be a possible argument as to why you didn't get all of what you're talking about? Would that even be possible? In 90 minutes.
I can see a world where that is the case, but again, that is sticking to the old regime of politics. We are moving into new frontiers, and I don't think that that is sufficient for where we are going. So they stick to the manifesto and the technicalities and tricks that were once the primary modus operandi. It doesn't suffice in today's generation, and we the people, we want more, because there are a lot of manifesto items, and I can speak for myself. I perused both manifestos that were not highlighted, that were not brought to the fore, and there are policies in there that could have been highlighted, that could have been explored further to help us as the viewing audience and help us as Jamaicans understand the real crux of the issues that we're facing and how each party plans to address them. But quite largely, the debate centered around predictable the tax reform, and I think that there was so much more that could have been addressed, so much more that could have been done, and so many more things that could have been said. So it just does not suffice.
Okay, a disappointed Downey there coming from the debate. His name is actually Downey, by the way. Dejanay beside Dejanay Fagan, a colleague, she's also from the Jamaican Jade as well to speak, Jamaican Association of Debating and Empowerment. Your thoughts, did this new format work for you? Why not in 30 seconds?
Okay, so it was definitely like exciting for sure, but like Downey and Ronaldinho, I agree that it was disappointing. I heard a lot of claims. So what are we going to do? We already saw that on social media. We already heard that everywhere else. But what we didn't hear is how exactly we're going to do these things. And all of us down here, when we heard some examples being given, when we heard some points being raised, our biggest question was how? You're going to do this, but how? We still haven't heard that. And even if we are going to read the manifesto ourselves, I don't think the average man is going to do that. So I think this would have been a very good opportunity to really tell the people what we are going to do exactly and how we are going to do it.
And you thought it was a missed one?
Yes.
For the most part?
Yes.
So, disappointed Dejanay. Okay then. Okay then. I want to get a reaction and a comment from Miss Beverly here. She's a retiree. She's been here all evening quietly observing, and she will be sharing her views. But on the matter of the excitement, as Miss Beverly collects the mic, and I'll soon have her, share the issues in terms of what she saw from the debate and her own reactions to it. But I want to first go to a clip in the debate. This is on the matter of the excitement. Since my debaters said they didn't like the substance of it so much, despite the excitement, I want to go a little bit more to explore why on those issues. But before that, on the matter of the excitement, this was a high point, well, a point that generated some reaction during the debate. I'm seeing stuff on social media already. Let's go to the clip I'm referring to firstly.
What the Jamaican people want is who is going to look after them, who will bring down crime. Peter Bunting depended on divine intervention without work. In fact, he is on record, I believe, as the only Minister of National Security who was unable to secure himself. And I am happy he's okay from that unfortunate incident in Portland. But it speaks to confidence in their policy to reduce crime. This government has reduced crime by 30, the lowest over 30 years. And this...
Okay, so I didn't even intend for that clip to be played so long. So it was a 2013 incident that Dr. Christopher Tufton is referring to when, what was reported by then Minister of National Security Peter Bunting is that some of his associates were robbed. This is the reaction that happened here in studio. Our audience did not know they were being recorded. Let's take a look.
Yeah. Not the nice person.
So the place erupted with laughter. So as much as they're saying XYZ, they were in here laughing, all of them, because I was observing all of them. So it's certainly one on the entertainment side of it. For you, Miss Beverly, were your issues addressed? Did you hear some of the issues that you wanted to hear?
Well,
You could turn the mic to you, TMO, yeah.
well, for me, this debate was basically rehashing, most of the past, like what I'm familiar with. Like my colleague said, they would...
Sorry, Miss Beverly, I want our viewers to be able to hear. So just turn the mic towards your mouth.
Okay.
Yes.
Like my colleagues mentioned, they would prefer to hear the meat of the matter, going forward. And that is what I would have wanted to hear as well, apart from the dramatics.
Yeah. Could you tell me one issue that you would have preferred to hear?
The details of how are they going to make, or are they going to change, that whole scenario to benefit the tax situation and all of that, that is what I would have wanted to hear in details.
Okay, I can see the gentleman beside you itching to ask a question. I promise you'll get a chance to ask that question on the other side of this break. Well, you'll be raising an issue. Okay, so I'm being told that we're not going to the break right now. Let me come back to my panelists here. Dr. Christine Clark, Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences at the University of Technology. University of the West Indies. You see, and it's my alma mater, and I'm so sorry. Your overall your reaction to the overall debate.
So I'm taken back to the actual budget debate when presentations were made, even in the sectoral debate, and persons kept asking, how is this going to be funded? How is this going to be done? How will it happen? So at that time, my thinking now is that everybody is expecting more of our public officials. It's not going to be enough going forward anymore to simply give us a list or some boxes to tick. People are asking to understand how it all fits together, not just the kind of line item, okay, this is in it for me, so I'm happy with them, I'll vote for them, and other people are looking from their perspective. From the feedback here, you're hearing that in essence, your manifesto has to be policy oriented. People are looking for how it all is going to work together. The how is very important. I think also the issue of the confidence trust is coming more and more to the fore. We heard that back in 2007 with respect to the financial sector, the meltdown there globally and what that happened. Confidence is now coming back up with a question mark. How confident can we be that these things will actually materialize and will materialize in a way that it will make an impact, a felt impact on the ground? So unfortunately, the debating format didn't seem to push the envelope towards that aspect. The question seemed more to be giving them a platform, again, to say, as the panel has said, what they've already said on the campaign trail, not pushing them beyond that to say, okay, so how do you see it actually unfolding in a more comprehensive way?
But to just challenge you on that a bit, especially on the first question, Andrea Chisholm used her follow-up question immediately saying, hey, how will this be funded? So did the journalists did their job to ask for the responses?
For that first one, but I got the sense that the questions after, some of the questions after were not really pushing that boundary. Yes, you asked, okay, how will we avoid FinSac? But I think that was a little bit too broad. It is going to require another level of analysis, I think, another level of, even within each of the political parties' institution, their programming capacity, their analytics, how are they going to look deeper? Because I don't think even in the next cycle, they will be able to reproduce the documents in the format they have and get as far as they have in this time. Because
we have
these young
90
people,
seconds before break, Dr. Clark. And I just want to put this question to you. What you're describing to me is the debate, though, the place
no, that's
for
what I'm
that
saying.
detail,
I'm not
that
sure
granular
if
detail
it
that you seem
is,
to be suggesting.
but I guess because what we are being fed right now is that social media, short clips of, those highlights. So everybody now was perhaps looking now for the debate to be a time when, okay, it's not the vuvuzelas and the lights and the smoke and whatever. Maybe we'll hear now in a kind of, sit-down way. What is it? How is it all going to hang together? I think that's what people had in their mind.
Perhaps a sit-down discussion program
the
to get some of the
debates
details.
may not be in this format in any case, the way to get that done. So there's the expectation, but also the reality of the format that I think they were battling with in this debate.
We want to come back and follow up on that a bit, as well as some of the other issues raised. Keenan Faulkner, I will want you to answer me a question on this, though, on whether you were satisfied with some of the responses on the tax proposals, but that will be on the other side of the debate that we are now going to take. Stick and stay with us here on CVM TV. It's our post-debate analysis on the special edition of Lead Story. We'll be right back.
Following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Transforming care across the nation. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for your health. We've expanded NHF benefits and filled over 3 million prescriptions. Free checks and new subsidies for tests. We're making care more accessible. Plus, 138 health centers repaired and major hospitals under construction. Choose a healthier Jamaica. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. For 55 years, Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaica isn't just the land we love, this is the land we choose. The Jamaica Labour Party has done more than any other government to make this country better for us all. We're doing more for you, and we're not done yet. No new taxes in 8 years. More Jamaicans working. Violent crime at its lowest in decades. More reliable water and upgraded health centers. Choose proven results, not just promises. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party. The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Your future is being built today. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for you. Over 550,000 Jamaicans have gained free training through HEART, opening doors to new skills. Plus, we have removed fees and added new training programs. We are equipping our youth with job-ready skills and creating thousands of opportunities. Choose a brighter future. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. For 55 years, Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Deliver 25,000 land titles per year with more NHT benefits, helping families in informal settlements. That's doing more for Jamaica.
Well, I guess 50,000 homes.
Continue to connect Jamaica with more highways and large-scale road repairs. Yeah, Jamaica needs this.
Yeah, modern infrastructure. We promise to improve them. Yeah, more promises, more promises.
Build on our landmark tax-free threshold increase by cutting income tax. Yeah, that's it.
Raise tax-free income up to 3.5 million. I guess that's good.
You can copy my ideas, but you can't copy my
The
results.
proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Welcome back to the post-debate analysis of what was indeed a mouth-watering debate for the economy, what I'm calling the economy plus debate. Ronaldina McLean of Jade said it was economy deficient. Very strong words there. Keenan Faulkner, before the break, I wanted you to say if you were satisfied, to give me a response on the tax break issues. I mean, it was the first question, rightfully so, from Andrea Chisholm to, I think, the PNP. And I think in response, I remember one of those jabs from Fayval Williams saying, lie, lie, lie. And then Julian Robinson punching back with pro-box math and all these things. So we saw a little bit of the jabs, but the issues were being raised from the off. Were you satisfied with the responses to the threshold issues or the explanations on the party?
Well, you know, the PNP's responses are not dissimilar from what they have been saying publicly elsewhere, and that you are really limited to just a few options in terms of absorbing that expenditure, reprioritizing what's already there, and committing to economic growth beyond the current average of 1% a year. So, you know, we would have liked to hear more explanation on that particular aim to grow the economy, but you are now reiterating those broad aspirational policy goals, but at least you have said what the options are. So that, in my mind, is creditable. On the JLP side, that they have costed it at $20 to $30 billion, that to me seems a little understated. I think it eventually might cost more than that. But no, trying to absorb that expenditure, the timeline that you plan to do it, that didn't really become clearer to me in this debate. You know, I have reiterated that I don't think this is something that can be implemented on either side within at least the next 2 years. So, you know, you're thinking of at least 2 to 5 years after that. But, you know, we want to hear what is this going to cost each year as you phase it in. That might have been very helpful. On the balance, though, the entire debate, I think it needed to be more clinical, more precise, particularly because in this format, when you are looking at times, and you have this time of 1 minute, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, you need to be more clinical and precise.
But we're talking about TV, 90 seconds. Wasn't the debate fun? And that's what people wanted at home. A little bit of the information and some fun to keep them entertained. Was it not?
No, in the context of, you know, the jabs and, you know, those things, those are very definitely fun. If you're looking at it in strictly terms of debate, maybe because I'm trying to pick out what the salient issues are from a financial perspective. I was happy to hear commitment to fiscal responsibility. I was happy to hear the explanation about the wage to GDP percent, you know, acceleration on financial sector legislation and policy, opening fiscal space, things that you would do with that, as well as interest rate reductions and, you know, the whole idea around that. So things that were serious definitely came out from me.
I believe as well, and it is my personal view, that some of the details that yourself and Dr. Clark want to hear, I think, are for more sober discussions on the talk show programs, Lead Story here on CVM and Lead Story Prime, and the different discussions. Ronald, you're itching to come in, and you have 15 seconds.
Okay, no, because you say that, but I think we got glimpses of how it can be done right even in this debate. So I think someone like a Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon was very structured and very succinct, but also very sophisticated in how she weaved connecting people's personal experience and feelings and even to her own anecdotal interactions with people to some of what she would say that the government is actually currently doing, and then explaining how they'll continue those to actually connect with and improve people's lives. I think she gave us glimpses of how you can distill some of the economic language, still related to people, while keeping it substance oriented.
I think you're just pointing right there to exactly where I'm going. I don't know if you're also, are you telepathic? So we're going around now to get high points of the debate plus low points of the debate, best speaker, worst speaker, who was in between. We also have a social media poll going on right now, so if you want to vote who won the debate, go on CVM's Instagram page, that's CVM TV, and have your vote. If you want to comment on the debate as well, go on it and make a comment under that poll. Raymond Morrison, do you have right now some comments from Instagram? What are our followers saying?
Yes, Gio, we do have a few comments. So Will Ryan Wilson commented, Tufton has been doing good. Fayval is just a slow talker, but if you listen to her, you'll understand what she's saying. I'm tired of this fin sack back and forth talk, though. Can we move out?
Okay. Everybody's shaking their head right there when the speak about Fayval being slow, but if you listen to her, you can get it. Another comment.
We have one from Angela Sparks, and she commented, Tufton did well. Fayval is smart, but just a slow talker. So the comments are relatively the same.
Okay. All right. So that's what we're getting from our Instagram. I want to go quickly to Corv da Costa. And my friend in front of him is raising her hand. She's been itching to speak. I promise I'm coming to you. Corv, high point of the debate for you. 15 seconds.
Well, this debate had a lot of fireworks. I feel the high point for me was Julian Robinson's fight. I saw lots of passion from him tonight as one of the next finance ministers. I was particularly disappointed with Fayval tonight, terribly disappointed. I thought as the Minister of Finance, she wasn't on the ball tonight, and this is her portfolio.
The viewers are saying, though, you may not think she's on the ball because she may not be as quick in responding as Julian is, but if you listen to her, there is substance.
And that is, the criticism on this side was about the substance and the policy. Her answer should be reflecting the policy decisions, and I think either she was not using the time effectively, but in a debate like this, you need to master time management. She was so weak that it made the PNP and the opposite person to her, which would be Julian Robinson, it made him seem to be more interested to be Minister of Finance.
Okay. For you, Christoph, high point, low point?
High point of the debates. Well, I don't know if you can call it a high point. I'm saying it's a high point because it was the most combative. When they scrutinize each other's plans for the income tax, as in how they wanted to change the income tax. But what would I be saying would be the low point? It's hard to pick. Much of the debate was, again, these jabs, talking about things of the past. There wasn't much scrutiny of future policies.
Who was the best debater for you?
For me, best debater, I would say Dana Morris-Dixon.
Dana Morris-Dixon. Worst debater?
Kisha Anderson.
Kisha Anderson. Okay, give it to Dejane next to you. Dejane, who won the debate for you, Christoph?
On the performance tonight, not speaking on the party's platforms, just a performance of the persons that came on, I would say the JLP. I think Julian Robinson was carrying the PNP's team. The other two debaters on the PNP team did not do it at all, in my view. The JLP's team, it's not that they did spectacularly well.
So JLP is the winner for you?
Yes,
okay.
The JLP.
Okay. All right. For you, Dejane, best debater, worst debater?
For me, the best debater was Minister Dana Morris-Dixon.
That's 2 for Dana.
Yes.
Okay. And who was the worst debater?
I think it's between Minister Bunting. I think
Bunting
it's
is not a minister.
Bunting.
So spokesperson Bunting on security.
Yes.
Okay. And who? Between him and who? Or him?
No, between him.
Him. Okay.
Yes.
Corv, who won the overall debate?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Who won the overall? No, yes, Dejane. Who won the debate?
For me, it was the Jamaica Labour Party.
So JLP. So we have 2 for the JLP so far. Downey, quickly. Best debater, worst debater, who won?
So, best debater, Dr. the Honorable Dana Dixon.
3 for Dana.
Worst debater, I'd also go with Kisha Anderson and JLP for the win.
Okay, so that's 3 people saying JLP. So Bunting, worst debater, and you say Kisha. Next beside it, we're going right around quickly. sat down if the lady is right beside you, you did not give it to... Okay. Best debater, worst debater?
So the best debater for me is Dana, and the worst debater is Fayval.
Okay. Okay, next person beside you. Who won the debate? Remember, best debater, worst debater, who won? Who won?
The Jamaica Labour Party.
JLP, so 4 so far said JLP. We not follow each other? Not sure anybody now copy? Okay, quickly, best debater, worst debater, who won?
The best debater for me was Minister Dana Dixon.
Dana Morris-Dixon so far, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes.
Worst one was Kisha Anderson.
Worst one was Kisha, so that's 2 for Kisha and 2 for Bunting for being worse.
The Labour Party won this debate.
JLP won, that's 6 love so far for JLP. Coming to the front.
For me, the best speaker was definitely Senator Dixon. The worst speaker would have been Mr. Peter Bunting. I would say the other person, the lady, but she didn't even contribute much to the debate for me.
So you're saying she didn't even turn up to be the worst debater?
I didn't get enough content from her to even rate her performance. And for me, the JLP did win the debate.
Okay. Okay. I've never heard that before, that somebody that wasn't even so present that he would even give them the worst debater because they weren't there.
I don't have enough grounds to give her any.
Wow. But the person who was there and speaking, based on how badly you think he was the worst.
Right.
Okay. All right. So JLP won, so that's 7. And best debater, Dr. Dixon, that's 7 so far, yes. And worst debater,